Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Clifford Johnson, with the Mojave Podcast Transmission. Today is April 15th, 2026. It is 9:34 p.m., and I'm going to be covering a few things today and doing a review about a release that we didn't think was going to be happening today. And I'll just show that in a minute. But first things first, I wanted to show you guys a song. I think I'm just going to go to it via the Discord. It would be easier for now. I was going to make a playlist of ones I was going to review, but in the meantime, I stumbled upon this channel, and I don't know how much work he does putting in with the lyrics or anything, and it just has AI modulate them yet. I have no idea. But either way, that being said, it's phenomenally done. It does sound like Breaking Benjamin did a cover or redid the Kingdom Hearts 2 theme song, which was one of my favorite ones of all time. Let's see here. It was supposed to be... Well, I know I put it over here. Foggy Nights. Here we go. That is the artist. So he has, as of this day, he released it a month ago. It has a little bit over 250,000, so 313,000 views, which is quite a lot. And it's a Sanctuary Metal remix. So for those of you who like rock, this will be a fun thing for you. And I was going to show the permission without going to the comment, but it's easier to just do it right here for this one particular because it's on it. For rights, all rights observed. Sorry, usually I have this all figured out, but we're already running late as it is today. I watched the whole thing earlier about the release of the date of 2027, and you guys should know if you saw it too. You're moving this up in the playlists and putting this in the playlist. This way I share the playlist on my Discord for everybody that wants to view the videos on their own. It's another reason to join the Discord. Okay, good. He finished the live stream, so it's gonna be buffered now. Good, very good. Load up this. Whoops. Oh, I wanted to show you the Kingdom Hearts app. I've had this for years, guys. I bought this at Hot Topic, and it has the scene from the very beginning, and there's a reverse image underneath. It's pretty sick. And on the back, it just has like, it's a snapback. It's nothing. It has nothing on the back. It's just really faded. But yeah. Like I said, I've had it for 20 something years since I was a kid. Yeah, it's fun. It's so fun to have stuff like this official merch. And then they finally do something with it. And then I'm like, oh my God. I've been wearing this for like ever because I didn't think they were going to do anything. And like, now I realize I probably shouldn't have been doing that, but oh well. Now this will just be my hat forever. Okay, everyone. Without further ado, let's proceed forward. I gotta get my headphones in. Okay. My foot metronome, sorry.
So many ups and downs. My heart's a battleground. I need true emotions, but I need more affection than you know. I need true emotions.
I think I cried the first time I heard it right here.
I need more affection than you know.
Right here.
show me how to see that nothing is whole, that nothing is broken. You show me how to see that nothing is whole, and nothing is broken. Sanctuary of what feels alive, they melt away. Screaming inside, need more affection than you know. What's left of me, you know?
Pretty much. Definitely go like, subscribe to that guy. Perfect. Phenomenal. Now.
Do you stream Elements?
Yes.
This will be fun.
You have,
all
I'm
right?
assuming
Make
you have
sure
the
you
chat,
go
like the actual chat
subscribe
window
to
Yes.
or the chat
Dark
doc.
Theory 4,
On the where it shows the
and he's been
leaderboards,
doing
I
a
think
lot
that
of good
there's,
stuff
like, a
with
top
Kingdom
bar where
Hearts
you can
lately,
change to all time
even
instead
blindfold
of weekly.
challenges. So like, I don't think I've ever seen somebody play a game
I
like
see.
this
But the thing
blindfolded.
is, I'm
So
on
I'm pretty impressed.
Streamlabs
and-
OBS, not OBS Studio anymore.
Oh, Streamlabs OBS instead
Yeah.
of okay.
So I don't have that feature. Or at least I don't think it's accessible.
What is he talking about?
So I'm not
RTMPs?
sure.
That's funny because that's
How
literally
about this?
why I
You want to
use
the
the
stream if I feel
studio.
like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I told you to refund yourself, Winner.
Multi-stream for
Star
free,
Wars
bro.
is
I'm not paying
Zootopia,
that.
lol. Yeah.
Okay, so
Oh, we're making a bet on FF16.
we're gonna
We're,
turn it up
if we see Final Fantasy characters, I don't
when
think we're
it
seeing
starts
Clive.
here in a minute.
Hey,
Yeah.
Guru.
So this is what we're all sitting here for, the 25 Kingdom
I
Hearts
still want
25th
want
anniversary
Noctis to appear, but I know that we have Yuzora, so it'd be kind of
and
redundant.
so I'm just going to, because this already happened earlier today,
yeah,
around
but, like, it'd
4:20
be
it
really
started,
funny if
so
they
this
did
would
that
be
and then we did Spider-Man
4:40
freaking-
almost.
but
It
if they
starts
did Noctis, and then
Pacific
we had
Standard
Riku and then
Time.
we had a Yuzora, they could do the Spider-Man pose.
So it's Pacific Standard Time.
That's part of Disney.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Trailer already?
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, I think it's the same trailer, but maybe.
I don't think it's an extended one yet.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. I wasn't even sure because I was a couple minutes late in.
I'm so glad
Guys, do you need me to turn it up?
to hear from some
Or is this
of my
good?
friends
It sounds fine.
fellow Keyblade wielders.
Oh,
And now, please welcome your host and guiding key, Cleo Thomas.
Cleo Thomas won from holes?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Holes?
Yeah.
from holes is crazy. What?
My name is Cleo
Love that
Thomas,
movie.
an actor,
Favorite
a gamer,
childhood
Cleo
movie.
Thomas.
and your host
Without a
for
doubt.
the deep dive into Kingdom Hearts here at the D23, the
Sorry,
ultimate
it's great
Disney
fun.
fan event.
I'll turn it up somewhere.
Where's Stanley?
Many of you here in this room, or the millions watching at home on stream, may recognize me as the character Zero from the Disney film Holes.
Holes.
There it is.
Yeah.
I think I'm just
Way
gonna
too
like
damn
implement it
bad.
over chat down here.
Before that, I saw this commercial that combined two things I absolutely loved. Video games like Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10,
Complimentary light
and
angles.
Disney characters.
Why is this? Why is
Wait
this?
to
Hold
get
on.
this game. Me and my brother.
What are we doing?
with Our parents. They took us to get the game. We're driving home. We get in our driveway. We run into our house. We run into
Actually,
our room.
it's just
we
the
take
stream
game
itself
out
is
of
just
the case,
garbage.
we Put the game in the
It's like, it's
console,
okay.
and you know, nothing's ever really the same after you hear Otada Hikaru sing "Simple and Clean" for the very first time, is it?
Wait, I gotta tell you guys that
Today
my
is one of
stream
those
is actually a
pinch
little bit
points. I
more
can't believe
clearer
it's
than it
happening
was
kind of days.
because I'm
I get to be
sharpening
here
the stream a
live
little
at
bit. So
D23, celebrating almost
Just know that.
25 years of Kingdom Hearts with fellow fans from all over the globe. So make some noise for yourself.
congratulations.
I just beat this jacket. That Aladdin
Yeah.
It's
jacket.
about
an
time.
amazing panel
Bro, I
planned for
love
you.
his
You ready to
freaking
kick this thing
Aladdin
off?
jacket, dude.
yeah,
Are we ready to kick this thing off?
yeah.
We said. So first person I got to bring to the stage, Director of Product Development at Disney and Pixar Games, Nana Gad.
Not a what? Oh.
Thank you so much for having us from all the way from Tokyo, and so happy to be here today.
I'll come back here, come back here. Sit back there, beautiful, beautiful. Next, please join me in welcoming to the stage, co-director of Kingdom Hearts 4, Tai Yasue.
Tyson.
Everyone, hello D23. This is amazing, crazy.
Tyson,
2 days ago,
thank
I was
you.
literally in Japan making our video game. Now I'm here. It's very exciting. We're gonna have a lot of fun talking about Kingdom Hearts.
Sorry, I get started a few seconds.
And finally,
but that's probably because that's
A
because of
very
me.
big special
That's
guest.
okay.
Please put your hands together and welcome to the stage, the creator of Kingdom Hearts, Tetsuya Nomura!
Oh, we drowned it out. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Wait a minute. Wait. Did the channel say he was showing up?
喋れない。すみません、
Hey,
今
the
日
work.
はですね、
Good
ご
luck,
招
Steph.
待いただきまして、ちょっと重い腰を上げてですね、数年ぶりに、ここ、やってきました。
Definitely
昨日
got a trailer?
実は来たんです。ただサプライズってことでずっと隠れておけってことで、やっとこれで自由にうろうろできるなと。ただ明日帰ります。楽しんでいこうと思います。よろしくお願いします。
So thank you so much for inviting me today. It's been several years, but I finally managed to get myself out here. I actually arrived yesterday, but I had to stay out of sight because my appearance was supposed to be a surprise. But now that I'm finally here, you can say that I'm finally free.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
That said, I will be heading home tomorrow. So although my stay is a short one, I'm looking forward to having a great time with all of you. Thank you very much.
Let's take a seat. Everyone take a seat. Let's take a seat, man. We got so much to talk about. And I know fans here, they want to hear so much more from you three about Kingdom Hearts 4. But I would like to go back from where this all began, man. Going back in time for a moment. When the idea of Kingdom Hearts first came up, were there any Disney franchises that the team knew had to be included, even if they didn't make it into the first game? Nomura-san?
ですか？
Why don't we start with
すみ
you?
ません、見えないんで眼鏡かけます。
So I have to put on my glasses for a moment.
すみません。キングダムハーツの企画が立ち上がった当初はあれですね。まずはナイトメアビフォークリスマスですね。セールアニメは当然なんですけども、それ以外に意外性のあるものということで、それを選びました。はい。
So one title that I absolutely wanted to include was Nightmare Before Christmas.
I figured.
While we obviously plan to, feature classic style animated films, I really wanted to, throw in something that was going to be a little unexpected.
でその後もですねナンバリングには必ずこう意外性のあるタイトルっていうのをチョイスしていて、ライブアクションと、そういったワールドは一つは必ず組み込むようにしています。
And then since then, I've tried to make it a point to make sure that each mainline title includes at least one unexpected world, such as those based on live action films.
はい、もうこれで大丈夫です。はい。
Yeah, I think for us, The Little Mermaid was an early pick, partly because it fulfilled the role of a water-based world that we needed, but also because it allowed us to showcase the latest graphics technology at the time with the expression of moving water. Sometimes our picks don't immediately get realized until there's the right fit with the story or technology or other elements, but it's always really rewarding when it finally happens.
Yeah, The Nightmare Before Christmas for me is a classic to run into, right? But then I think of The Little Mermaid, and I feel like for every video game, you kind of have to always have a water level. And what perfect one than The Little Mermaid? What is the process of selecting Disney worlds? And once that world has been chosen, what is the creative process for bringing them to the game? Ty?
Yeah, so I guess when we plan a world, one of the first questions we ask ourselves is what sort of game experience we want the players to have, because games are an interactive medium. So that's something we really focus on. Another thing is we really want to pack a wide variety of worlds and gameplay into one sort of package. So it's just like Disneyland, for example, a lot of attractions, different attractions. And so for Kingdom Hearts 3, we had the Toy Story world, and you could go ride a robot and fight kaiju. We really wanted that robot aspect. And for Pirates of the Caribbean, Sora became a pirate, obviously, travels the seas. But what we really wanted to focus on was we wanted Sora to travel through the sky, dive from the sky, play on the water, and inside the water, also fight on the land as well. So we sort of want to transition between different sort of stages and modes. And for Arendelle, the Frozen world, we really wanted to focus on extreme sports. So that was something big for us. And so we had Sora sliding down slopes on his keyblade and diving off cliffs. And that was sort of seamless sort of transition as well. And so I guess for each sort of world, I think having differences and having unique gameplay, I think that's really important for us.
そうですね、ワールドに関してはですね、野生と同様にゲーム体験を優先しています。で、大体作るときは当然ですけど企画が先行していて、その新しい企画ゲームシステムで、どのワールドでどういうキャラクターにそれを体験させればより楽しいかということを重視して決めています。
So when it comes to worlds, I'm the same as Ty. I typically first prioritize the gameplay experience above all else. And whenever we do start a project and we think about the new sort of game systems that are going to be involved, we think about what worlds and which characters really make those experiences the most enjoyable for players.
あとはですね、自分からもうこのワールドは絶対出すって決める場合は大体ソラのメインストーリーの進行との相性を鑑みて、今回のテーマ、例えば「キングダムハーツ4」今回のテーマには、昨日発表しましたけど個々のワールドが、状況的にベストだということで、今回それをチョイスしています。
And then whenever I do have a chance to be able to decide that we absolutely need to include a certain world, I generally think about how well it synergizes with the overall main story progression with Sora. And when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 4, when I thought about a lot of the themes, we felt that Coco would be the best world that really would help achieve that goal.
And I'm assuming mostly everyone saw the trailer yesterday? Yeah! I'm sure that's what Nomura-san was referencing. And I heard Nomura-san that trailer was actually supposed to be played during this panel. So
another one, please.
Is it okay if we show it again?
I'm okay with that.
そうですね、昨日のトレーラーなんですけども、
Extended though, please.
けども昨日で大体情報は出尽くしてるんですよ。
ですよね。
So yeah, actually, when it comes to the trailer that was revealed yesterday, we actually already put out all the information that we can as of this moment.
なのですごく特別新しいってものはないですけども、実は昨日のトレーラー90秒なんですけども、元のトレーラーは4分のトレーラーになっています。本日はぜひそのトレーラーをご覧いただきます。
And so, it's not that there's any really new information that we can show at this time. However, when it comes to a trailer that was shown yesterday, that was about 90 seconds long, that was actually a edited down version of an original trailer that was around 4 minutes. So today, I'd love to be able to show everyone the full version.
Okay.
Wait. So So just so we're clear, we saw 90 seconds yesterday. Now we get to see a full 4-minute trailer. Run the trailer. Let's go.
Run the trailer.
Run the trailer.
Brings back memories.
I'm goosebumps right now.
Gracias.
De nada. Oh.
Huh? Wait, what happened?
He's been forgotten. When there's no one left in the living world who remembers you, you disappear from this world. We call it the final death. Hey, it happens to everyone eventually. Come on, De La Cruzito. You got a contest to win.
This is Quadratum.
They're asking for Dandelion dispatch. Molly, behind you! Wow!
Whoa!
Welcome to the Plaza de la Cruz. Yeah! Yeah! It's showtime!
This is a lot of new information. I bet I'll find a clue to saving Sora now. Huh?
When folks disappear,
I love how you can play as different characters.
Always end up.
But Sora isn't here.
Wow.
Yep.
What?
I know he's ecstatic as I am. We all had goosebumps right now.
Hey!
Oh, shit!
Oh! Here's a surprise. You're looking pretty good for an old coot.
Strelitzia! Sigurd!
He's screaming.
Oh shoot! He was.
I'm so sorry that I'm yelling, but
Wake up. Let's see.
Here we go.
Wow.
goosebumps.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us this amazing
Amazing.
look at Kingdom Hearts 4.
What was that last part? I'm not gonna.
I said extended cut.
The continuation of this saga makes me so curious about the process behind that. Alongside gameplay considerations, how does the team ensure that the Disney characters and worlds feel fresh while still retaining their core identities? Nana?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to come back from all that excitement, but let's dive into it. Yeah? I mean,
Oh my
the most
God,
important
man.
thing is for the characters to remain true to themselves, and that means whenever they're thrown into a completely new situation, a new environment.
Let's go, yeah.
They would always react exactly
TikTok don't like that I'm watching
as
this.
they would.
They restricted me.
Because authenticity has always been at the core of what we make, and that goes beyond just trying to retell things from the film, but really goes to the very essence of those characters. And as for the worlds, visual identity
Creative
is
commentary
always key.
comes. I mean, you
So
have to
things
figure out
like
a
the shaders,
way to
textures
free and
and
fair use this, because
proportions,
this
they're
was a
intentionally
public
and
event.
generally kept different in each world, so that when Sora visits new worlds, we make sure that
Doku, thank
they
you,
always
thank you.
feels unique and authentic. And the spirit of the original films also come alive in details like the rhythm of the scenes or how the camera is staged, the types of camera cuts, and those details really add to the authenticity as well.
It's true.
Yeah, so as Nana mentioned, I guess authenticity is really key for us. We want players to be able to feel like they're actually playing inside the actual film. And so we really strive to recreate the character, each detail, each world and story. And there's so much to love about these films, and we want to be true to the core of its sort of essence. In the Coco world, for example, in our trailer we just showed you, we have Sora fighting alongside Miguel and Hector. And as you know, Coco is really a musical. There's a lot of music inside the game, and so we wanted.
I'm wondering how that restriction is going to go for streamers. If they're going to have a streamer easy stream button.
Hector, who is a skeleton, to use his arms,
gameplay, bro.
Arms, sort of shoot it as an arrow. He's really inventive with that, and he also uses his arms as a nunchuck. And so, we really wanted to recreate that sort of essence of their identity. And so they do all this, and they also they actually fight together. Sora with his giant key,
actually he'll
with
command
his arms, and Miguel with his guitar, and they also dance around a magical piñata, I think, which is really cool. I think so. So yeah, that sort of thing of divergence of different characters' identities, sort of cooperating together. I think that's part of the Kingdom Hearts charm. That's what we love about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, family, Kingdom Hearts, working together. Yeah.
まあ基本的にはディズニーのオリジナル作品を
I want one more trailer, please.
ようにはそういう大きな脚色は行わないっていう。ただしスタジオ側からの要請があればオリジナルの内容に変えたりとかっていうことはしてます。
So yeah, we generally try to stay faithful to the original Disney story, so we don't make major changes or reinterpretations. That said, if we do receive like a request from the studio, we might make changes accordingly.
空との掛け合いの空気感とかゲームプレイでの掛け合いとか、ゲームのオリジナルの部分でキャラクターの個性が際立つようにできることを心がけています。
And so we look for ways to highlight, the character personalities through more of the game's original elements, like the tone of Sora's interactions and the gameplay itself.
プレイヤーは空を通して、そのワールドのキャラクターたち、ワールドを直接歩いたりとかワールドとの関わりっていうのはやっぱりそのキングダムハーツならではの醍醐味だと思うので、それが一番重視して、作ってます。はい。
And so the interactions between the characters that the players get to experience firsthand through Sora, I think is what I consider to be the essence of Kingdom Hearts, and that's something that I feel to be very important here as we develop the games.
Beautiful, beautiful. It's one thing to love original Disney characters. It was a whole thing to see Cloud and Sephiroth in a game with Disney characters. Everyone remember the first time they saw Sephiroth?
Yeah.
Blew my mind. Blew my mind, man. Was there a particular Disney world or character that you three had the most fun creating and breathing new life into?
So yeah, I guess I enjoy all our worlds, and I enjoy introducing new gameplay ideas for all of them. But right now, one of the most exciting areas for me personally on Kingdom Hearts 4 is the world of Skull Island. So you get to finally play with Mickey. So that's very big for us.
Yeah.
So in this world, you get to play with Mickey and you jump into a book. And this is like a paper world. And so Mickey in this paper sort of world recreates sort of origami paper copies of himself. So and you could create like paper thin Mickeys, giant Mickeys, tiny Mickeys, and box Mickeys. And when you're a paper thin Mickey, you go through the cracks in the walls, for example. If you throw him, he becomes an airplane, paper airplane, you fly around. So there's a lot of new ideas to that. And by utilizing these special abilities of these copies of origami Mickeys, you could solve puzzles. It's sort of a
this is our mini games.
Based game design that's very different.
These are mini games for the
Sora's
game.
Adventure. And I think
Paper
it's
Mario,
really refreshing
Paper
and
Mickey.
interesting. I think you'll enjoy it all. I enjoy it very much.
I didn't even think of it like that.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. Looking forward to playing that. And I agree with Ty that all the worlds are always genuinely fun to work with for different reasons. But if I had to choose, with Toy Story in the past, we were able to work with storytellers at both Square Enix and also Pixar to come up with a completely original story that took place after the events of the first film. And so it was really exciting for us to be able to offer a completely new experience to fans instead of just tracing an existing storyline. And of course, the classic worlds are always really fun to keep alive, like Hercules, for example, or Hunchback of Notre Dame. Those are always timeless stories and characters that fans really love. And so being able to keep them relevant many years after their first cinematic appearance is always really special to us.
マレフィセントとかハデスとかのヴィラン系のキャラクターは結構新しい魅力が含められたかなと思っています。
So I think we've been able to bring out a lot of new charm for the villain side, like Maleficent and Hades.
彼女たち原作なぞる以上にキングダムハーツのオリジナル要素にも登場してきていますが、動かすのが毎回とても楽しいキャラクターでよく使ってしまいます。
And these characters have appeared extensively in storylines unique to Kingdom Hearts beyond, their just following their original stories, and they're incredibly fun characters to write and work with. So we end up utilizing them a lot.
今回ちょっとトレーラーにも出てきましたけど、キングダムハーツ4でもですね、ハデスとドナルド・グーフィーとの掛け合いがちょっと面白く描けてると思いますし、マレフィセントもとても重要な役割を担って、登場しますので、ぜひ楽しみにしていてください。
And as shown a little bit in the trailer just now, I do feel as though we were able to create some especially entertaining interactions between, for example, Donald and Goofy and Hades. And Maleficent also plays a very important role in the story, so I hope you look forward to her.
Yeah. And Maleficent fans? Yeah. I love that you each have a different feeling for every world and every character. For me, Agrabah was so cool to see because Aladdin is my all-time favorite movie. So to see it in Kingdom Hearts, dream come true. The other thing that I've always found fascinating are the worlds that are inspired by Disney. So what was it like creating these unique worlds like the Mysterious Tower and Disney Town, which aren't directly represented in film? Ty?
Yeah, so I guess Disneytown wasn't based on a specific film, but it was built around the feeling of Disneyland and Toontown. We really love Disneyland a lot, so we really wanted to capture the sense of excitement and celebration. There's a lot of festivities there, and we really wanted to re-experience that in the things of the park. So that really extended to all our game mechanics, and we used a lot of desserts, for example. There's a lot of ice cream, sea salt ice cream. Those sundaes with churros in them. I love them. They're very creative. I'm going off script here, but yeah, I love the desserts in Disneyland. Anyways, so that's why we created a festival called the Dream Festival in the game, and that was complete with an ice cream themed mini game, and you get a lot of rewards related to that. We also filled the world with classic Disney characters. We really love the classic characters and like Horse Collar, and deliberately designed the buildings to have sort of like a curvy, whimsical shape. And our aim was really to capture the bright, lively, humorous, and playful charm of Disneyland because it's so special.
Yeah, with Disneytown, it really wasn't about just creating a location, right? It was about creating that feeling. And then so, like Ty was talking about, we really encouraged the team to embrace Disneytown as this place of fantasy, with curved lines and whimsical, stylized structures, basically not bound by the rules of a real world. And beyond that, the castle and the homes surrounding, it kind of felt like it was inhabited. So it felt like life continued there even after we were out of the scene. And once this creative direction was established, that the team came up with just an amazing amount of ideas and details to populate and really enrich this world while still maintaining the core identity. And it was really a case where a strong thematic vision really empowered the creativity. It kind of offered a framework for the artist to explore while still sort of maintaining that the experience stays undeniably Disney.
モチーフだけがあってですね、その発想を広げて、新しいものを創造するっていうのはなかなか楽しいんですけども、さらに何かが完全にそれを再現しなきゃいけないっていうものがない分、気も楽だったりします。
So imagining something new based off of solely a certain type of concept certainly is something that is very fun and enjoyable. And it's also in some ways less daunting because there's no expectation of having to replicate something exactly as it is.
いろんな遊び、こちらがちょっと考えてる新しい仕掛けとかも盛り込みやすかったりですね、シナリオも絡めやすいですから使い勝手が良くて、利点もすごく多いです。
And also gives us more freedom to incorporate a variety of sort of gimmicks that we thinking about, and it's also a lot easier to incorporate from a narrative perspective too. So it's a very versatile approach with many advantages.
また構想としてはですね、キングダムハーツ3の段階からあってですね、企画も練ってたんですけど、なかなか実現するのがハードル高かったものがですね、キングダムハーツ4でちょっと進化させて登場しますので、ぜひどんなワールドになるのか、かなりすごい、自分たち的にはすごいワールドがありますんで、ぜひ楽しみにしていてください。
And then when it comes to the overall game design, for Kingdom Hearts 4, there's actually an idea that we had since Kingdom Hearts 3 that we weren't able to realize just because of certain difficulties, but we were able to kind of realize that with this installment. And for us, we think it's a very, very exciting idea, and so I do hope people look forward to it.
Okay. I'm excited to see everything coming, so thank you guys for putting all this work in. One of the most compelling parts about Kingdom Hearts is how it blends Disney worlds and original worlds. Could you walk us through the process of creating original worlds and how you ensured those story elements still had the through line with story elements in the Disney and Pixar worlds?
So when it comes to original worlds in Kingdom Hearts 4, I think one of the biggest examples would be Quadrotomb, which is inspired by Tokyo. Just like we do with Disney Worlds, we were really committed to creating a strong sense of authenticity. And so we actually recreated all the city parts. We had our teams walking around Tokyo taking pictures because we really wanted all the buildings and lightings, the patterns on the roads, for example, to be exactly like Tokyo. I actually wore a dorky headband and running shoes, and I was running around Tokyo. Everyone thought it was weird, running around the street. Because I really wanted to get a feel of the scale and the excitement of Tokyo. And so we really wanted to use that in the game. And I think one of the things we really focused on was we wanted players to be able to move through this vast city in a dynamic fashion because it's a huge sort of city, one of the most massive we've ever created. And that's why we introduced new traversal actions. So for Kingdom Hearts 4, we have a new action where you shoot your keychain, right? And then you could launch yourself on top of buildings, for example. You could slide down power lines in Tokyo. You could twirl around poles and signboards.
Thank you.
And so it's very realistically Tokyo, but you can also do all these dynamics actions in an exhilarating way. So yeah, it's very cool.
シナリオ段階では、自分の頭の中にこう思い描く正解の形があるんですけども、それをどこまで再現するかっていうのはトライアンドエラーをしてやっています。チーム側にアイデアを投げてもらってもうこうやり取りを続けていって何回も繰り返して、それでもどうしても自分の思い描くものと違ってくる部分とかもしくは譲れない部分っていうのはあるんですけど、それをもう常に話し合って
話し合って楽しくね、
そう別に揉めてないですギリギリのどうすればより楽しくなるかっていうのを探り合っている感じです。
So yeah, during the scripting phase, I typically have a vision I consider to be the right answer pictured in my head. But the extent of realizing those visions require constant trial and error. I usually have my team members kind of come and present ideas, and from there, we have numerous discussions and exchanges. And then, in that process, there's certain ideas that, I'm not able to, I feel that it's difficult to realize, or, certain ideas that I really can't compromise on. And so between the team and I, we're, always trying to constantly push ourselves to find that balance.
で先ほどの、ココでもそうですけど、今回は特にキングダムハーツ4ではですね、空の状況っていうのが置かれている状況っていうのがこれまでとだいぶ違いますので、より空の状況に合うテーマのワールドをチョイスして、それを体感してもらうっていうことを心がけてますが、ちゃんとオリジナルストーリーと一本に通るようには今回から新たに構成担当を置いてですね、やり取りすごい密にここ ずっと密にやってました。
Sorry, I had to say something to my girl.
はい、すごい厳しいツッコミがいただきます。
So yeah, and this applies for Coco as well. That was a world that we chose because we wanted to take into account Sora's current situation, which is very different from the situation or the circumstances that he found himself in the past. And so we try to always pick our world based with that kind of theme in mind, and that's really always the forefront of our approach and thinking. And in order to ensure that the story still feels cohesive and continuous as a whole, I work very, very closely with the story lead within my team. Even before actually I came here today, I was having lots of discussions where she was pointing out all these things, and so that's just a constant part of the process.
Nice. One final question. Why do you think the story of Kingdom Hearts has transcended generations and has continuously grown in popularity over the years? And how does it feel preparing for the 25th anniversary of this franchise, Nana?
Yeah, no, wow. It's just so amazing that we're coming up to the 25th anniversary. But honestly, it's really thanks to all of you, fans out there who have really supported us and been with us through this incredible journey. So thank you so much for that. I think one of the reasons why the franchise continues to resonate with new generations is the enduring and relatable themes of friendship, loss and hope. These are all themes that everybody can relate to. And really this fusion of Nomura-san's amazing storytelling and Disney's timeless stories and characters is just truly magical and brings all of these really important themes together. And another thing is the connections that fans share with each other, I think, is really special and just vital in keeping the franchise alive. I think, many of us who have played the first game are now adults and have been sharing the passions and experiences with friends and family, in some cases their children over the years. And that's precisely the kind of things that ensures that Kingdom Hearts franchise really reaches the next generations. And we're so very grateful for that. ありがとうございます。
Yeah, 25 years. Honestly, I feel a little old, but yeah, probably not gonna say that. I'm really grateful for all the fans and for being with us for all these years. And very thankful for that. It's amazing, I think. And as for Kingdom Hearts 4, I think what I'd like to say is I would like to thank everyone for their patience. At this year's D23, we're finally able to announce a release date for Kingdom Hearts 4. I'm really excited about that as well, and I can confidently say and promise that it will launch in 2027. And so schedule-wise, development is very smooth.
Okay.
It's not like an 80% thing, 90%, it's a 100% thing. So we'll be there for sure. So I promise you that. And in the meantime, we have Kingdom Hearts Collection, which lets you experience the entire saga in one package, and it's available for pre-order now. If you've never played the series before, or if you'd like to revisit the journey again before Kingdom Hearts 4, I'd be happy if you just jump in, dive in.
Dive in? Okay.
Dive in, you say?
ですね、
Okay.
ともかくですね、もう大体っていうかもう全て皆さんファンの皆さんのおかげで、もう皆さんの支えがあってここまで長くシリーズが続いてきました。本当にその感謝の気持ちで自分たちスタッフもずっと頑張って続けてます。
Yeah, so, when it comes to everything, it's really thanks to the support of our fans. The fact that the series has continued for as long as it did is really thanks to your support. And, myself and my team, we continue to work hard in order to be able to, because of the gratitude that we have for everyone who has been with us on this journey.
ですね、25周年に関して、さっきもね、いろいろ話してて、あれ今だっけ来年だっけみたいな。
話してましたね。
来年です。で来年なんですけど、そうそこはちょっと混乱したんですけど、25周年に向けてですね、まだまだいろいろ計画していることもありますし、25周年を迎えようとして今思ってるのはもう30周年のことを考えてます。
And when it comes to 25th anniversary, this is something that we were discussing earlier just now within the team. But now that it's happening next year, there's many things that are underway, many plans that we have underway. And so what I think about now that we have the 25th anniversary and we're approaching it is about the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, I'm 31 years old.
あと その一つというか、これまでシリーズが長く続いたおかげでもありますけど、昨日アニメーションの発表もありまして、何かコメントをとすごい言われてですね、じゃあこう言おうかな、ああ言おうかなっていうとですね、それは言っちゃダメです、これ言っちゃダメですって結構止められるんで、結構何も言えないんですけど昨日もコメント出しましたが、結構がっつり関わってやってますんで、ぜひ、アニメの方も楽しみに待っていただければなと思います。
You know, and then one part of that feature is actually the animated series that, you know, we're able to do. Thanks to everyone.
Very cool.
And you know, in making that announcement, I was asked to make a comment.
I can't wait for that.
I thought to myself, I'd love to maybe I could talk about this, maybe I could talk about that.
I have no idea that
you
that
know,
was
in the
even
process, I was also
happening.
told, you can't talk about that. You can't talk about that. The comment that I put out. You know, I myself am deeply involved in this project, and so I do hope that everyone looks forward to it.
はい。そうですね。最後に一つだけ言っとこうっていう、さっき安江と話してたんですけど、昨日2027年発表されまして、結構皆さんの反応も伺っていたんですが、これは伸びるねみたいな意見もちらほら見かけたんですけど、確実に27年に遅れないので。これは言い切り
絶対に遅れない100%。
まあそれもあって僕ら明日帰るんでものすごいね思ってる以上にマスター早いんで遅れません。なので27年楽しみに待っていてほしいのと、まだまだ今回PR 始まったばっかりなんで、方はこれからの情報また期待してお待ちください。
And then one last thing that I actually wanted to also share, and this is something that I talked about with Ty as well, but you know, we announced that the game is going to be coming late 2027, and I saw online that some people were saying, oh, maybe the actual release date might still get pushed back. I just wanted to set the record straight. That is not happening.
Thank God.
Good. Good.
So I do hope that people do look forward to the game coming in 2027, and all the marketing for the game has only just started, and so I do hope that people also look forward to hearing more news as well.
Beautiful. I want to thank the three of you guys so much for coming up here and sharing all of this with us. Make some noise for our panelists.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you.
Too much. I hope they don't reveal too much.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I'm actually happy we got that extended one. That extended trailer was definitely worth it at the very least. No, they just said, oh, we got one more.
Man. Well, guess what? Like I mentioned, that was just our first set of panelists here, man. So I'm going to bring out some more friends of mine. To expand on some other aspects of the Kingdom Hearts saga, we're going to hear insights from Disney character voices and Kingdom Hearts voice talent. Please welcome Renee Johnson, a creative director for Disney character voices, Haley Joel Osment, the English voice of Sora, and David Gallagher, the voice of Riku.
Wow! The clapping sounds so sus.
How's you guys feeling, man? How's E23 for you guys?
Pretty exciting.
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's been
awesome.
Yeah, man. This is crazy for me to be on the stage with all of you, man. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity. Renee.
Yes.
You wear a few different hats on Kingdom Hearts. You're one of the main voice directors, but you're also the lead English dialogue editor. So you're part of shaping the script through several rounds with Square Enix, Disney, and sometimes the filmmakers. Once you receive the Japanese audio and animation, how do you prepare the script for recording?
Painstakingly so. I go through every line, every reaction in what we call a timing review, which means I sit in my office doing my own really bad versions of the character voices, trying to time them to the Japanese audio, which I'm sure makes everyone who sits around me not entertained. But I want to make sure that not only do we have the timing right, but that we're matching the expressions that these beautiful animators have done and any gestures that are being done. But the Square Enix localization team and I are doing more than just adapting words. Japanese and English have different rhythms. The pauses are different. So if a Japanese pause feels too long in English, I need to determine if I can shorten it or if we can just talk through it. What's going to serve the material best, serve the characters best? And even small differences in the languages. The Japanese may be able to just say heartless, but we have to say the heartless, which gives these guys an extra syllable to fit into the same animated beat. Or the Japanese may voice a head turn or a smile, which is something that we would leave silent in English. So we have to find something that's going to feel natural in that moment. And I'm so thankful that these two are so great at it.
What do you think about when you adapt these characters for Kingdom Hearts, both as you
Just
take
seen
the
Sora and
scripts
Riku
once
fist
you're
bump
in the
in real
booth
life?
with the actors?
It starts with knowing the characters inside and out, their perspectives, their vocabularies, their speaking rhythms, and then imagining them in these new situations. And take King Mickey, for example. He is the Mickey we all know and love from all of Mickeydom. He's open-hearted, he's generous, but here he's a leader who is fighting darkness. So naturally, he's going to react differently. He's going to say different things, and he's going to say them in a different manner. And then the actors bring their magic to it. The script changes in the room so much because of what these guys bring to it. No matter how well I thought I timed something out, we're going to add words, we're going to move words, we're going to change them around, and that's just to capture all they are bringing because they know these characters so well. And then I want to be open to surprises. I always want to be open to surprises. I can't tell you how many times Jim Cummings has made a Pete line 1,000 times funnier with an improvisation that totally fits the moment, but none of us could have anticipated. And then with the characters like Sora and Riku, we want to make sure that we're totally capturing the nuance of the Japanese while still delivering a performance that is natural in English. And again, Haley, David, so amazing at doing this. A lot of my direction, I mean, I'll be honest, a lot of my direction to Haley as Sora is just a little goofier, or because it's Sora, a little whinier, right? And for David, for Riku, it's even more serious, a little more angsty. Can I get a little more angst, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah, man.
Great.
Renee, you've worked both closely with Haley and David for years, but Haley and David, after doing research, I found this incredible true fact about you guys, that despite playing Sora and Riku for nearly 25 years, you guys have never actually recorded together ever. Is that right?
It's true. Yeah, it's one of the crazy aspects of voice recording. I think in all the voice recording,
for some scenes that's kind of crazy.
Rarely have. I think Hey Arnold was the only time I've ever been in the same room with the other actors. But it's nice because as we jump around recording sections of the game, sometimes it'll be Japanese audio, and then sometimes I'll hear David's voice or somebody else's voice. It's nice to encounter that. Something that just popped into my head is like I technically got to do a scene with Rutger Hauer in one of the previous games, which was a tremendous honor. So it's an interesting aspect of this job. Yeah.
Yeah. I've actually been looking for Haley for 25 years. Glad I finally found him.
Only here at D23, man. Yeah. So with 25 years, we look back at it all, and it's been a journey. But Renee, I heard you found something from back in the day that you want to show everyone here.
I did. A colleague of mine who worked a ton on the first two games, his wife made this beautiful scrapbook after Kingdom Hearts 1. So here's a Wayback Machine, y'all.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I forgot the merman me. Hey.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Seeing your young Tetsu was crazy.
Oh.
Haley.
That's so young, dude. Wow.
Haley, question for you, man. What comes to mind when you look at those photos? You know, making the first Kingdom Hearts. For fans who have never seen how the game is recorded, you know, what was the experience like from your side? What do you remember? Was there anything new, surprising about it as the process was going on?
I had done a lot of Disney voiceover jobs before Kingdom Hearts, but taking this on was a completely different animal because I'd never recorded over dialogue in another language. That's our big challenge, is as Renee mentioned, getting the right spaces and the right lengths, but also conveying the same meaning and matching the gestures that he does, sometimes really big gestures. And it's been such a delight to learn how to do this over 25 years, and now it's like a really specific skill that I have and that we have as a team together that I'm really proud of. I also am confronted daily with how high my voice was back then.
Yeah.
And that's another challenge of the job, is that Sora's just a little bit younger than me, and so I'm unable to use about 70% of my natural register, and you have to try and find ways to have variety and expressiveness using a very limited part of like the top part of your voice. Another fun thing is, and you might see this at some point, doing the really young me, the way that the shape has to happen inside my head, it kind of feels like my eyes are popping out of my head when I'm doing it, so that's an interesting part of it too.
Look forward to seeing the BTS on that one. David, what about you, man?
When I think back about recording the very first game, for me it really represents like two really special milestones in my career. So the first one, and the one that I was most excited about kind of stepping into the role, was the fact that it was the first time I got to contribute to a video game. And like, I've been a gamer my whole life, and you know, I've always worked in film and television, but then I'd come home and I'd play video games. That was my way of kind of relaxing, and so having the opportunity to contribute to a video game, I was all in, no matter what it was. I was ready to come in and do what I could. But then to come in and to see that the character that was presented to me was actually a bad guy in the first game. I was 16 or 17 when we recorded the first game, and I in my young career, I was always kind of like a golden boy. You know, I always played like kind of good kids, and so it was a huge deal for me to be able to portray a character that leaned into the darkness a little bit, and so it was important to me that I stepped up to that challenge, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, job well done, man. Make some noise for him. Renee had mentioned earlier that even a head turn or a smile can require a very specific sound. So what type of sounds, like, the fans may assume is easy, like a laugh or a gasp or a fall or a short attack, that's actually surprisingly hard to get right in the booth? David?
Well, all the fun noises we kind of bunch up for the very last day of recording. We call that fight day. So we that's where we do all of our attacks and our when we take damage, and you kind of finish your recording session when you're all done with your final death scream. If you need to have like a kind of you're defeated, so we save all that fun stuff for the end. But I think in general, the most difficult kind of emotion to kind of noise to make really is just genuine laughter.
Right.
Sadness and anger, those are things that you kind of dig for internally. You kind of well it up inside of you and you look for it there. But laughter is really external. It's kind of involuntary. Things make you laugh. So and because of that, everyone kind of laughs differently. Everyone kind of that comes out of you. Is pulled out of you from something. So to have to laugh on cue without anything funny happening is the hardest part for me.
The laughing is really hard because it has to be arranged with physical movements on screen too, so it's kind of like an unnatural way of hitting those things and doing it in a high register, because I think my laugh is closer to Seth Rogen's laugh than it is to a 14-year-old boy. But I will say the fun stuff and the stuff that comes easier than you might think are the big, like the hits and the attacks and some of the big yells of grief. I'm thinking of one in particular from Kingdom Hearts 3 that we really built up for a while. We're like, this scream is going to be crazy. Like, we'll leave it till the end because you're just going to be wrecked after it.
First take.
It was the
first take is what's in the game.
I had 4 hours to think about it while we were in the booth, and I was ready. I mean, and when I think the note is like, everyone you've ever known is gone, it's like, that kind of gives you a clear idea of how he's feeling.
Well, I want to thank you three so much for being here today and providing us with a glimpse into how Kingdom Hearts has been made for almost 25 years from your perspective. So make some noise for them, my guys. And also, Renee, thank you so much for giving us such a fascinating look on how these performances come together. So please give Renee a round of applause. Now, before we move on, there is a special guest who would like to say something to you all.
Oh?
Who?
Oh boy. Nori desu ka?
Hi everyone, I'm Miyu Rino. Thank you for coming to
Is it-
D23 日本語版で、空の役を演じています、入野美優です。よろしくお願いします。
Oh, the Japanese voice actor.
That's
Okay.
right!
当時12歳、13歳ぐらいの頃にオーディションを受けて、空の役を演じることが決まり、その当時は演じるっていうよりも、もうそのまま自分が 声を発することで空になる、いわゆる等身大で演じることができたんですが、それが年齢を重ねていくとともに空と自分とのギャップが生まれて、そのギャップに苦しんだこともあるし、今では空も成長していくし、自分自身も役者としてのスキルも含めて、マイク前に立てば空になれるっていう本当にそういう一緒に旅をしてきたような、感覚があります。
He does not look like 38, man.
Yeah, he does not.
まさかこんなに長く続くコンテンツになるとは思っていませんでしたし、先ほど言ったように一緒に成長して一緒に旅をして、今もまだまだこんだけ世界中のファンの皆さんに愛してもらえる作品になったということはとても嬉しく思っています。
You know how you say blacks don't crack? Well, Asian don't raise it. That's why.
皆さん、これまでキングダムハーツシリーズを応援してくださって本当にありがとうございます。キングダムハーツの収録はですね、他のゲームタイトルと比べても、自分の経験上ですけど、ものすごく大変で、一つの作品を撮るのに3年ぐらいかかるぐらい収録をしているんですね。その大変さがですね、こうやって皆さんに届いているっていうのを感じると、本当にやってよかったなと思いますし、これからも空を演じていきたい、皆さんと共にキングダムハーツシリーズを盛り上げていきたいなと思っています。本当にありがとうございます。デイビッドさん、こんにちは。こんにちは。はじめまして。僕実はハーレイさんが、ハーレイさん、僕多分年齢近いと思うんですけれども、別作品でハーレイさんの声を吹き替えたことがあるので、なんかそういう親和性も僕自身、感じています。いつかお二人に、D23 で、会えることを楽しみにしています。
Oh no!
それでは最後に皆さん、つながる心が俺の力。
Hey, I don't even listen to the Japanese voice that much, but like, hey,
Thank you, Mio, for that message.
Still
man.
hard. Still hard.
Like I had mentioned earlier on, Sora and Riku.
Hold on, what are they
have
about to
actually
do? Hold on, I
never
need
been
complete
in
silence.
studio together in the booth to record anything of this incredible history of this video game, Kingdom Hearts. So that's what makes what you're about to see so special. The reason being that Haley Joel Osment and David Gallagher will now perform the final scene from Kingdom Hearts 2. Together. I also get to be in on this. I get to read like what's going on. So just, I'm freaking out. Here we go. Sora, Donald, Goofy, and Mickey journey to the world that never was. Organization 13's stronghold, where they reunite with Riku and save Kairi. With victory seemingly at hand, Kairi, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy escape through a portal home. But before Sora and Riku can follow, Xemnas suddenly returns, cutting off their escape and forcing the two friends to remain behind for one final confrontation. Sora and Riku face off and defeat Xemnas, the leader of the Nobodies.
We did it!
At that moment, a bunch of nobodies appear and surround the two.
I wouldn't be too sure of that.
A flash of light, and all of the nobodies dissipate. We know Sora and Riku just got through with an epic and long-fought battle. They're both exhausted, and Riku falls to his knees.
Sora, I can't. Don't say another word. It's not over. It's just not.
Sora helps Riku to his feet.
How can you say that? Even if we could go on. Look where we are.
Oh, come on, Riku. You've been hanging out in darkness too long. You gotta try and think positive.
Sora?
Hmm?
You lead.
Got it.
After some time wandering through the void, the two appear stuck.
You know, I always figured I was better at stuff than you.
Really?
Are you mad?
No. I kinda always thought you were better at everything too.
A glimmer of light appears ahead.
Riku, look. What's that light?
They enter the light. The two find themselves at the dark margin, the edges of the realm of darkness, near a shore overlooking an endless sea.
End of the road.
Yep.
Put me down. I can walk.
Sora walks up to the water and looks around.
You know, maybe the darkness has gotten to me too.
He hears a thump behind and turns. Riku has collapsed to the ground.
Riku!
Sora runs to Riku.
This world is perfect for me. If this is what the world really is, just this, then maybe I should fade back into darkness.
Riku.
If the world is made of light and darkness,
Sora sits
we'll
up
be in
and
the
smiles.
darkness.
Yeah. The other side, the realm of light, is safe now. Kairi, the king, and the others are there.
That's what I mean. Hey, Sora, could you help me? I want to get down to the water.
Sora takes Riku by the shoulder and helps him walk towards the water.
At least the waves sound the same.
We hear the waves as time passes. The two are now sitting at the edge of the water.
What I said back there about thinking I was better at stuff than you? To tell you the truth, Sora, I was jealous of you.
What for?
I wished I could live life the way you do. Just following my heart.
Yeah, well, I've got my share of problems too.
Like what?
Like wanting to be like you.
Well, there is one advantage to being me. Something you could never imitate.
Really? What's that?
Having you for a friend.
Then I guess I'm okay the way I am. I've got something you could never imitate too.
More time passes. The two are still sitting at the water's edge. A bottle washes up toward Riku. He grabs it, takes out the letter inside, and gives it a glance.
Sora? I think it's for you.
We hear the text of the letter read out loud. Sora and Kairi's voices blend together. Today, we'll leave it to Sora.
Thinking of you wherever you are. We pray for our sorrows to end and hope that our hearts will blend. Now I will step forward to realize this wish. And who knows? Starting a new journey may not be so hard. Or maybe it's already begun. There are many worlds, but they share the same sky. One sky, one destiny.
A door of light starts to open up before them.
Light.
The door to light.
Sora stands up and reaches down.
We'll go together.
Riku takes his hand.
Yeah.
They walk through the door.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Whoever, I'm gonna say it, whoever freaking had the pictures for Limit Form, for the Limit Form final fight, they skip boss fights.
Pretty good.
They skip boss
pretty
fights.
good. Took 25 years. I'm glad we finally did it.
What a special treat. What do you guys think about that? Listen,
I love that. That was amazing.
Amazing process, man. Thank you guys so much for being here. I still want to figure out how we can capture this moment, though. I feel like we got to move some stuff out of the way. Let's just move some stuff out the way very quickly. Let's get this out the way. I'm gonna take this over here. Yeah, and
picture.
I feel like there's only really one way to kind of end this.
A cool picture. Ooh.
We need one more special guest, don't you think?
Oh.
I got Sora with me.
Alice
I got
Sora?
Riku with me. I feel like
If it'd be Utada, that'd be crazy.
Mickey with
Utada would
me.
be crazy. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought it was in Kyrie. Okay. I thought it was in Kyrie.
Yeah.
Now, all around, I just feel like we got to capture this moment with everybody in the room. Can we just get a big family group selfie right here? Let's turn around here. We'll turn around. Mickey, we'll turn around. And Kingdom Hearts on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Kingdom Hearts.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for coming out.
Mickey.
Enjoy the rest of D23.
May your heart be your guiding key.
That was
Is
really
that
great.
it?
I love it. Fantastic. Thanks for watching, everyone. This was.
Thing is, no Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that was one of those things, man. Once in a lifetime. I never thought that we would ever see a Final Fantasy 4, like ever, or a 3 for that matter. So to be able to get a 4 is like the holy grail. And that's why the dude kept constantly saying that he literally didn't know, not Dario, but the other guy. I don't know who was in his stream also talking. Excuse me. But yeah, he was trying to say, because I watched majority of the stream after. We'll do a deep dive into their little tournament gameplay in a bit, but we're gonna swerve into our core curriculum for the Mojave Podcast transmission. And this is your host, Clifford Johnston. And for 1 minute here, this is gonna be the title. I wore this burqa he has to expose. This is not the title. I'm sorry. I'm paraphrasing. The title is I wore burqa, not a burqa. I wore burqa to expose election fraud in Minneapolis. Cam Higby. After that will be a couple of these. Stick by. We have a few. We're probably gonna skim that afterburner, max afterburner. That's way too long. Obviously, like we didn't watch the full 4 hours, so. Here we go. But this one right here, to expose election fraud in Minneapolis. I'm going to move this short up for Nick Shirley underneath of that because it pertains to this. And I'm pretty sure the majority of this communicational, maybe the text tone might be out of place. I don't know. But we're going to be talking about the long-term effects of feeding lionfish to sharks and groupers on the reefs. I'm probably going to turn off the sound on this and just do a little bit of an AI deep dive into the background of the lionfish, and we need to be maybe even cultivating them in a closed off environment in order to stave off populational starvation. Yeah. Okay, so the lionfish is an invasive species off the coast of Malibu, and I'm sure it's not really that great for any coral reef around the world. Let's just put it that way. I'm not really sure. To me, they're like an alien species that came down and is now infesting our oceans, and we need to make sure that we cull the numbers. Otherwise, all the natural or the native species there will be rendered extinct and lifeless. So it's something that is an extramental importance that we need to talk about. This lionfish, we're trying to get the sharks to eat them, the groupers to eat them, to help get the reefs back to normal. And yeah, so I'm not really sure. This guy has like 8,000 subscribers. I didn't really ask for permission to watch this video yet, but I did want to bring attention to it. So in the meantime, I'm going to be watching it without the sound, just kind of skimming through it to show you guys a couple of pictures here and there of different types of events. Like, it's kind of hard to show like little shorts and videos of lionfish getting speared without, you know, being demonetized on YouTube. So, but like some people seem to have figured out a way to do it. So I'm kind of utilizing them to help spread the word out on our podcast. And anyway, without further ado, I'm sure they wouldn't mind. It's just like the formality is I like to get permission. We need to talk about this by Tectone. Normally, like I said, no. So that seems welcoming enough for me to have it on my podcast because it's something that we need to talk about. So, other than that, it's been tending to not have Tectone on my channel, but lately, he's been hitting some pretty decent points. So some people need to work back their subscriber pledge after that, UFO mishandling, Penguinzino or whatever. So like, whatever, like he doesn't care. Like he has, anyway, less F's to give than most people. So this is disrespectful for somebody that actually seen alien stuff, and it's just messed up to me. So here we go. So without further ado, here is the first one we were talking about. The I wore burqa to. You should just put A, man. Like what? I wore burqa to expose election fraud in Minneapolis.
Wondering what is going on right now. Well, tomorrow I'm going to polling stations in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It is primary day. I'm not actually gonna vote, I'm not gonna touch any ballots, but I'm gonna see if they will give me the ballots of random people who are actually registered to vote, real people, and see if they'll just hand me those ballots, because there's no voter ID here. I don't actually have to show my ID in order to vote in Minnesota. So Minnesota also has a voucher program where I can bring up to 8 additional people who are not registered to vote. They do not have to show their IDs. All I have to do is sign a piece of paper that says those 8 people live in the precinct, and they can vote that day. I'm actually going to sign the piece of paper, but I'm going to see if they'll allow it.
Okay.
Still staying
Here
up
we
late
are.
gaming solo? With Hackable
No.
AI, get the ultimate.
I have a streaming channel.
All right, guys, it's election day in Minneapolis. James O'Keefe and I are going to go around the city to different polling
Can you even
stations,
show that? Am I
and
gonna
we're
get
to see if they will
demonetized?
allow us to vote without IDs, and then we're also
That's
going
all
to
bad.
see if they will allow us to vouch for other people who aren't even registered to vote. We're going to see how it goes. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment what you
There
think
you
is
go.
down below.
He's
and
got to
turn on
cover that
notifications so you know when I post when I'm
chin
live.
up, man. He's gonna get me demonetized.
Believable or
Looks
no?
good.
Is the voice believable or no?
Yeah, I think it's good.
You look, you're such a liar.
Believable or no?
I'm about to go into the first polling station with a decoy, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. She's gonna be my vouchee, so I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna vouch for her. She doesn't have a voter registration or anything like that. I'm just gonna go and say, this is my friend, I vouch that she lives here.
Hello.
Have you voted here before?
No.
No. Okay, well, go down to where it says voting, take a right, and they'll help you out in there.
Thank you.
And thank you for leaving the vote.
Seems pretty legit so far.
Hello.
Hello.
Register over there.
Hello, what is your last name? Is that and what is your first name? Genevieve. What was it again?
Genevieve.
Genevieve.
Uh,
And
wait.
what is your address?
Parkway.
Okay, well, let's check. Okay.
And vouch.
I'm sorry?
Vouch.
She's vouching.
I vouch.
Oh, for her? And is she Genevieve?
No.
You're Genevieve.
I.
So are you wanting to vote first?
You're gonna have to make a phone call.
Yes. But can she vote if I vouch?
No, good luck.
Does she live within this precinct?
Yes.
Yep, we can get her registered. Okay. So are you wanting to vote first though?
Yes, but vouch for her.
Okay.
So she vote. So if I vouch, she vote.
Okay.
Hi.
Is that right?
Yep. So
She. We no ID. No
Sorry?
no ID. We no ID.
well, she'll need ID.
She need ID.
Yes. So we have a list
Okay.
of ID, and then you'll vouch that she lives where she says she lives.
I-
So these are the acceptable ID.
I was told affidavit. I was told affidavit. I signed affidavit for her
Tim?
vouch.
But we still need an ID to show that she is who she says she is.
Okay.
So the vouching is that she lives where she says she is,
Mhm.
but the
Does she need to be
the
registered?
ID, so that's how we would register. Is
Oh, she
vouching,
registered today.
But we still need the ID.
Okay, and she registered today.
She can register today
Okay.
if she has ID,
Okay.
and then you vouch that she lives in the district and in the precinct.
Oh, okay.
Do you have ID on you?
We do not
Like
have.
a photo ID?
We do not have ID.
Nothing on this list. So like a state ID, passport, military or veteran ID.
No, we no have ID. We no have pocket.
Okay. So then without any form of ID, photo ID, then she wouldn't be able to register.
Can I vote without ID?
Yes, if you're already in the system,
Okay. Okay.
then you can vote.
Ooh.
If you're already in the system.
Hold on. I just need to point this out. I walked into this polling station with a random name of a random person who is registered to vote in this precinct. I am not that person. Here I am in full niqab, and this poll worker was prepared to allow me to fraudulently vote in that person's name without verifying that I'm that person. They don't need ID from me. They don't need to prove that I actually am Genevieve. They were just going to allow me to vote. They might have had me sign an affidavit, but nobody's going to check those affidavits, and even if they did, there was no way to prove Genevieve didn't sign it and that it was rather me.
One moment. I get call. I get call from my mother. I get call from my mother. Yeah, call from my mother. Okay. So they were gonna let me vote as Genevieve.
Yep.
I asked them if I needed ID. They said no. As long as I'm in the system, I can vote. As long as I know the name and address, I can vote. I literally wasn't even doing a female sounding voice, and they were just eating it up, buying it.
Yeah.
They were gonna let me vote as Genevieve. They said that needed her ID. So I said, can I vouch for her? Can I vouch for her? Yes, you can vouch for her, and she can vote today. Yes, she can vote today. Neither of us have IDs. And they said she will need her ID so that she can register to vote, because they're gonna register her there on the spot. So I guess the question would be, in Minnesota, can you receive an ID as a non-citizen?
It is.
It actually gets it right. Watch what Siri.
Yeah, well, in Minnesota, it seems to me like a lot of these states are following California's DMV policy, where if you just go there and somebody says that they're staying there, they can get a green
Driver's
card.
licenses
Like,
are issued to
see,
anyone,
like,
regardless
see,
of their immigration status or their
like,
citizenship.
it doesn't even matter, like, to them. Like, I don't even fucking get it. It doesn't make anything safe. It's complete shit show. Sorry, I'm talking over you, Bubba. Yeah. Ugh.
Any state, not just the state of Minnesota, which actually doesn't prove your residence to the state.
So we're preparing right now for the second location. I'm gonna walk in and ask if I can vouch for 8 other people, including the decoy that we're gonna go in a full thobe and hijab. And we're gonna see what they do. The last one, we walk in, the white lady sitting at the desk, "Hi, how can I help you?" She's excited to see me. So, see how this one goes? I imagine it'll be much the same. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of people there.
Sorry, I was just realized it was kind of low.
They're going into White Park Recreation Center, and they're going to ask about this vouching program in Minnesota. You can actually vouch for people who live in your precinct. We're going to put this to the test. You see the two Somalis are going in. One of them is a transgender Somali. Talks with a weird feminine voice. We'll see if this works.
Hi, are you here to vote today?
Yes.
We have you wait. Then you'll check in with the poll pads and be on your way to start the process. Are you here to vote also? Okay. Okay,
Vouch.
great. Oh, to vouch. Okay, awesome. Do you live in this precinct?
Yes.
Oh my god. That's
No.
it?
You. The voucher. Does she live in the precinct? You do. Perfect.
Do they even know what a
We'll just have you
precinct
check
is?
in at the poll pads.
Do they even know what a precinct is? Holy shit. I can't even spell it. A precinct is a specific defined district or area marked off for governmental, administrative, voting, voting or police purposes. It can also refer to a local police station or pedestrian-only shopping zone, depending on regional usage. There's that. So, here's a little bit on that. No biggie. A small geographic area where registered voters go to cast their ballots at a designated polling place. So a small geographical area, does that mean like they don't even have to say what part of the precinct they live in order to, like, they don't even cordon off or zone off the precincts in order to, at these polling places, like have any trace countability records of trying to see if you can catch somebody lying or something like that. You don't even have any of that in place. To me, it's just kind of shady. Like, I get it, you're just trying to get people like through because there's thousands of them, like you can see in California, but I think that just means there needs to be more polling practices. Like, it doesn't mean you do it for a month. That's ridiculous. You need to step it up. You need to increase the RAM. You need to do something big. And I don't mean rigging the election. I mean, you need to do something a little bit better than this. What that is, I'll think about it here. I don't want to like ruin this guy's video here.
This is right up front, okay?
What is required?
What is required? They will help you. I'll show you right here. Right in this poll pad, Carlos, okay?
Hello.
Can I get your last name, please?
The time right there too.
You can spell the first 3 letters. And your first name?
Kami.
And then your address, please.
My address, I just moved. It is 3530 Cleveland Northeast.
Got you here. So if you can take a look and make sure that...
Can I vouch?
You sure can.
Yes.
We'll get you checked in first, and then we can vouch.
What is required?
You're already pre-registered, so nothing else. Just you'll sign something, and we'll get your phone number.
And then she vote?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need ID?
Nope.
No ID needed? Her ID? She does not need ID? I have also 7 other people who I live with.
7 other people.
And they're not registered.
If you
I have 7 other people.
You can vouch for up to 8 people.
And no
right
ID for
now.
any.
I come back.
Nope,
I come back
but
right now.
After 8 people, you can't vouch anymore today.
After 8,
Tomorrow?
we got 8. 8 is too
Tomorrow,
much.
election
8,
day's over.
8 too much. Too much.
And what
8.
if some of them do not live with me?
If you
And
know
what
them
if
personally,
they don't
know that
have
live
the
in this
precinct?
In the area.
It needs to be this precinct.
They do.
So
What
make
if
sure
they
it's
don't-
the same precinct, not just the neighborhood.
He even
but
tried to
there's
get with
specific
her
boundaries.
curveball.
And no ID, I vote.
I didn't even know that was coming
Kami.
too.
Correct.
No ID.
Right.
And she
What was
voted
that
today.
beep for?
And 7 others.
And 7 others, yeah.
Vote today, no ID.
Right.
Okay.
Hi there.
Okay. And what happened with thing I signed?
What happens with the thing you signed? Well, you are signing an oath, a legal oath, that you know them and you know that they live in this area. And then they are signing this oath, which says that they are who they say they are and that they are allowed to vote here today. So they live in this area, they're US citizens, they're at least 18.
Do they check?
Well, yeah.
They do check it?
Shady as
After
all
the fact, yeah.
hell.
Okay, I go grab my 7 friends. I go grab 7 friends, bring them with me. Okay? I go grab, and they
I
vote
go
today,
grab
no
my
ID.
7 friends.
Correct,
Oh,
yeah.
he's still doing this.
They
Okay,
vote
hold
no
on.
ID.
Hold on.
The
I
same
got
thing.
to bring my 7
I vote
friends.
Tommy.
Hold on. Hold on.
I'm sorry?
I vote Tommy.
I vote beep.
No
beep.
ID.
I
They
don't know
vote
why
no
it's
ID.
beeping.
7. 8 including.
You got the metal detector.
That's correct.
I go grab. They in the truck. I go grab them.
This
we
is
go
in the
grab them.
truck.
We
I can
grab them.
grab them right now. My 7 little friends.
Wherever you want.
And we're gonna blow this. We're
What if
gonna
there was
blow
a
this
song
broad
about-
up, bro. Like, look at this.
Lost in Translation,
Look at
in the
this
style
go.
of
Oh, I can't even believe this crap.
So we just went into this polling station. I was dressed just like this. I gave a name that is not me. I said, the name
At least
is
they weren't being
Tommy.
prejudiced.
And they said, okay, you're in the system, you can vote today. I said, what about ID? Do I need an ID to vote? They said, no, you do not need an ID to vote. You're in the system, that's good enough. So any person who has the address and name of another person can walk into a Minnesota voting polling station and vote in that person's name without ID. On top of that, I brought in a decoy who was also in hijab and a thobe, and I said, can this person vote? I will vouch for them. They are not registered to vote.
decoy.
They do not have ID. Can they vote? They said yes. I said, okay, well, Minnesota law allows
I bring
me to
in
vouch
the
for 8 people, so
actual-
I'll bring 7 others. Can I bring
Yeah,
7
there.
others? She said yes. I said no ID for any. She said no ID for any. I said I vote as Cami Sluggers. And she said yes. Notice I said vote as, because I'm not that person. And it probably should be pretty obvious that I'm not that person. Nobody needs ID. And I can fraudulently vote in another person's name. I didn't touch any ballots. I didn't touch any documents. But they were going to allow me today to go vote as a person who I am not and bring 8 other people whom they do not know and whom have no affiliation with the government. They have no documents with the government. They're not registered to vote without ID. Those people can
With
vote.
an oath, yeah.
Tell the people what we're doing.
I'm about to go in as William. I am going in as William Pomerantz. I'm going to ask about the vouching. Okay.
Perfect.
My friend here, he has the gray hair at young age.
It is ma'am. It is ma'am.
It is.
It is ma'am. My husband tell me.
Hello. Good evening. How do you do? No touch, no touch. Disgusting. My husband tell me no.
Like I said, I don't know if I can show this on my stream.
They're
or
with
it's
me.
going to
They're
be
with
blown
me.
up by Orbit.
The vouching. Yeah.
You're vouching for.
I vouch for them.
Oh, great.
If it is that
Orbital
okay?
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, if you're all in the same precinct
Yes.
and you are already registered, which it looks
Same
like you are,
precinct.
then you can vouch for them as ID for them.
Oh, good.
It looks like
They do not
it's
have their
more,
ID.
so I gotta, like,
Is that okay?
definitely unzoom
I vouch
my
for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Good.
let's check you in first.
How many people may I vouch for?
What is it's
8?
I thought it was 6.
I can vouch for 8 people.
16?
Oh, good. We can go pick up Mohammed and Ranuzu. in
Because
the,
it's
the
2
car.
people?
Good. English. The question about the vouching again. I can vouch for 8 people.
Yeah. In your precinct.
In my, that they live. Yes, in my precinct. That is so wonderful.
Yes.
That is such a good American tradition. And no ID needed. I just vouch for them.
Well,
It's
you're
good.
the ID.
I am the ID. That's good. Let's go get Mohammed and Ranush. We bring them back. I did not know 8. I thought 2. So I will be right back.
Verify to make sure. You
Thank
want to go ahead and.
I'm going to go get the others and I'll come right back. I'm just in the car. Okay?
Oh, they're in the car?
Yes, ma'am. They come, but I did not know that it was 8.
All right, I'll just-
So you just keep this here. Thank you so much. Vouching. I did not know about the vouching.
Yeah.
But now I know. It is so good. 8 people, no ID. We come right back. Thank you.
Great success.
They're not coming back.
I posed as a vouchie for
They're not
James
coming
and
back.
Cindy.
I'll tell you what,
As
they're
I'm
not
in the
coming
airport
back.
on my way home. I hope you guys understood the
Bro, they're not coming back.
break the law. It wasn't to commit voter fraud. It was just to point out the
I wanted to understand the point of the video, sorry.
vulnerabilities in the system and how easily exploitable it is. I mean, I walked into a polling station with my face covered
and non-visible. And those poll workers were going to allow me to vote in the name of completely random people whom I am not,
In the name
without verifying my ID in any
XYZ.
way. And they were going to allow me to vouch
And
for
bring
8 other
in
people so that they could vote same
LMNOP.
day, also without verifying their ID,
QRS
without showing their
T.
ID. So, with that being said, make sure to like, subscribe, comment what you thought of the video down below, guys. My Amazon wish list in the description if you'd like to help elevate my content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
The other day, I posted this video of me exposing Kathy Hochul taking money from daycare fraudsters in New York City. And then today, Thomas Massey posted this. And this is what Thomas Massey had to say. Was a bit surprised to see that, but I said, okay. And I said this, in other words, why can't a 24-year-old solve all the government spending problems? You people in DC are a large part of the problem. All you do is complain and whine on X, while your job is to actually work for us. I've exposed and saved America billions. What have you done? Now, I don't know.
I don't know what they've done, Nick. I would feel betrayed. Betrizzled. Betrizzle of the highest order.
Told me to solve all of the world's problems. I'm just one person, just trying to teach the world how to leer a little bit here and there and crack down on as much fraud as possible. And when I see it, I call it out. That's what I do, is I go and show you exactly where our tax dollars are going and who's defrauding our tax dollars. Does the government have a spending problem? 100%. And that's why I'm going and showing you guys where all of our money's being wasted. And so far, I think I've saved the country probably around $250 billion with all the fraud that I've exposed and all the money that won't be going to fraudsters in the future. Now, what's annoying about this is a lot of these politicians are just complaining and whining on X instead of actually doing something about this. It's time for all politicians, whether Republican or Democrat, to stop complaining and start doing. We need more doers in our government and in society in general, because that's how we've gotten to this point where so much stuff and so much bad things are happening because everyone wants to sit and complain versus actually doing something. I went about and did it. I showed you guys where our tax dollars are going. Brought to you with the receipts of the Leering Centers, of the hospices in California, and those places are getting shut down each and every single day because of all the fraud that was so obvious that nobody ever knew about or went and showed or cared to expose until I went and actually did it.
Too many ideas, too many tasks.
in Hilo. As we know, that storm is going to bring torrential rains, damaging winds, dangerous surf, and life-threatening flooding and mudslides. So as we continue tracking this system, I want to bring into the conversation National Hurricane Center Director Michael Brennan. Thanks so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox on a very, very busy day, I'm sure, for you. Where does Hurricane Lala stand right now?
Well, the center is only about 65 miles to the southeast of South Point, which is the southern point of the Big Island of Hawaii. And those impacts, as you mentioned, are all happening now and are going to continue over the next several hours. It's, late morning Saturday in Hawaii right now. It's going to continue through the rest of the day into tonight and then spread westward. But we're seeing that heavy rainfall. You can see here, especially on the eastern parts of the windward side of the Big Island. We've seen some locations already reporting more than a foot of rain. There's a flash flood warning in effect for much of the windward side of the Big Island. We're seeing hurricane force wind gusts, especially at high elevation. You remember the two giant volcanoes here on the Big Island of Hawaii, well above 10,000 feet. So very, very high winds there. And those impacts are only going to get worse here over the next few hours as Lala approaches. And it might make landfall on the Big Island. It might just miss to the south. But regardless of whether that happens or not, those impacts are here.
And where are you expecting the center of Lala to hit?
Well, the center could clip the southern portion of the Big Island here. Because the island is so mountainous, there's going to be a complex sort of path of the center here as it interacts with that high mountain range, the high mountains on the Big Island. So we could see the center kind of move erratically here. It looks like it's taking a little bit of a northward turn here in the next few hours, and then it could kind of jump over across the Big Island and reform out here to the west. After that time, we expect a general west-northwestward track of the center, pretty far to the south of the rest of the main Hawaiian Islands, but the storm's quite big, so those wind and rain impacts are still going to affect, Maui and Lanai and Oahu and Kauai over the next, 12 to 24 hours. So this is where we're expecting the center to be early morning Sunday Hawaii time, and then by Sunday evening, the center will start to be pulling away from the islands, but those rainfall and wind impacts are going to persist through much of the day Sunday and even into Sunday night farther on some of the western islands.
And reports are saying those rainfall totals could be up to 25 inches or so. Just how much of an impact can that have on the Big Island there?
Yeah, that we're really concerned about this area in the Ka'u district up towards Hilo, the windward side of the island, where you get the enhancement of the rainfall from the easterly winds being pushed up the mountains. That's where we could see that 25 plus inches of rain. That can produce life-threatening flash flooding, mudslides. You can have roads washed out, roots cut off. And that's just, again, why we want people to be sheltered in a safe place. By now, you want to stay in that all the way through today and into tonight, certainly on the Big Island and the rest of the islands as well. You're not going to be wanting to venture out. Most flooding fatalities occur when people try to drive through flooded roadways, so please don't do that. Listen to any advice from your local or state civil defense officials about when it's going to be safe to finally, go out and assess the damage after the storm. But it's a reminder that that post-storm environment can be very dangerous as well, and you have to be careful in that environment too.
And I wanted to ask you, because we know Hawaii, of course, has plenty of mountains. How does that terrain change the way that a system like Hurricane Lala impacts the island?
Well, the high topography in every island has mountains, enhances the rainfall on the windward side. So you can see the maximum rainfall here on the eastern side of the Big Island and Maui and Oahu and Kauai. So that's where you're going to see that heaviest rainfall. And then again, the wind impacts can be higher at the higher terrain. You're going to have higher winds, sustained winds and gusts at those mountain peaks, and as the winds come down into valleys on the other sides of the mountains. So it can enhance those impacts, certainly for both a wind and a rain perspective. And as I mentioned earlier, it's also affecting the track of the center a little bit because the mountains on the Big Island are so large. There's going to be a little bit of interaction here between the storm and the island over the next 6 hours or so.
And what are you tracking in terms of storm surge and flooding and the rip currents?
Yeah, you have really dangerous surf conditions across the Hawaiian Islands. All of the eastward facing beaches and eventually the southern facing beaches as the track of Lala moves westward to the south of the islands. So very prolonged high surf, lots of beach erosion. Could be some coastal flooding. Definitely not a situation where you want to be out looking at waves either on a beach or on a cliff or any sort of exposed area. Those waves can be very large and they could sweep people out to sea. So again, don't go into those dangerous coastal areas. That high surf is going to last well through the weekend and maybe even to portions of early next week as Lala slowly pulls away from the main Hawaiian Islands.
And why is a direct hit on the Big Island so rare there?
Well, normally in a non-El Nino year, the waters around the Big Island are typically a little cooler, and most tropical storms and hurricanes approach Hawaii from the east. They reach their peak intensity over the eastern Pacific, and they hit that cooler water, and they tend to weaken as they approach the Big Island from the east. But as you can see for Lala, it's approaching from the southeast, and that southeastward motion lets it travel over some warmer waters and a more favorable environment that's actually allowing it to strengthen as it approaches the Big Island rather than typically weaken.
And as we're seeing those conditions strengthen, should people in Hawaii right now go from preparation mode to sheltering in place mode?
Absolutely. Yeah, everybody should be in shelter in place mode now. It is not safe to be outside, not just on the Big Island, but on the other islands as well, where the winds are starting to pick up. There's already power outages. There could be tree damage, debris blowing around. Flooding is going to become an increasing concern, not just on the Big Island, but the other islands as we go through the rest of today and into tonight.
All right, Michael, thank you so much for breaking it all down. We really appreciate that here
that
on
was
Live Now
8 hours ago.
Thanks so much.
You, just you, building your app.
Missing concerns about the conditions on the USS Lincoln, even as the president confirms a new aircraft carrier is headed to the Middle East to relieve the approximately 5,000 sailors on that ship, which has been at sea for more than 240 straight days. As Navy families and lawmakers raise concerns about shortages of food and basic supplies and the deteriorating mental health of some of the sailors, the administration is accusing the media of misrepresenting the situation.
Yeah, we gotta remember this shit.
Completely misrepresented. Listen, we make sure at every ship, every crew, every captain.
You gotta understand that, like, it's not exactly like a battleship. Like, you could fly in shit. like this is absurd. He's like, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm not gonna tell you how we keep our people alive on a boat for 240 days. I'm not going to tell you. Okay? It's like, it's the law.
Everything we can provide them at every single moment.
Oh, God, I got to love that guy.
Well, no, that ship is moving. No, they're not. That ship is moving right now, or very shortly, and it's being replaced with another.
They're not jumping off. They're not jumping off at all.
Not nearly long enough.
They're not. I swear
Joining
to
me now,
God, they're not.
Allison Jaslow, a retired U.S. Army captain, an Iraq War veteran, and former CEO of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. And Kevin Barron, president of Elevation Global Strategies and former executive editor of Defense One. I'm glad to have you both here. Allison, where is the disconnect between the administration's view of the sailor situation and their reported experience? Are the president and Secretary Hegseth taking this seriously?
Seriously?
I mean, I think it's for the public to assess whether they're taking it seriously or not. I know that what is being reported is the feelings of family members. They're also relaying, word from their loved ones who are on board the USS Lincoln. And I think, most importantly, there's been a real struggle to have, members of the press both get the access that they need to do quality reporting, both in the Pentagon, but also be embedded with troops abroad. And I think if we had, reporters who could see with their own eyes on the deck of the USS Lincoln right now, we wouldn't have to be, dealing with hearsay and he said, she said between the Secretary of Defense and military families.
Kevin, the New York Times reports this entire situation stems from an Iranian retaliatory attack on a U.S. base in Bahrain in the first days of the war, which damaged a key logistics hub for the USS Lincoln. You've covered U.S. military deployments for years. Does this indicate a lack of planning to accommodate an attack like this by the administration? I mean, what has gone wrong here?
What's gone wrong? A lot has. Yes, it clearly is a bad planning because they never want to be in this position to begin with. Look, when the United States goes to war, you expect that the war is something that will be, the ending is not known. It could go on forever. It could go on for an uncertain amount of time. And the military bakes that into their system they have for years. Like you said, aircraft carriers are meant to stay at sea for a long time, and there's plenty of capability to get them equipped and stocked up with the supplies they need. But some things need to come to port. And so, yes, the nature of this conflict has exposed all kinds of things that clearly the White House and the Pentagon didn't prepare for, didn't care about worrying about them when those consequences would happen. Like all of the strikes, not just at Bahrain, but all of the military facilities in the Middle East. It has now been. It's clear they are within striking range of Iranian missiles, and that's not ending. So the White House, he absolutely put themselves into this position by going to war so quickly and not preparing for a 6-month-long aircraft carrier deployment.
So that hearsay we just were talking about, Allison, MS now spoke to the wife of a sailor who jumped off the USS Lincoln last week. He was in the water for about an hour or so before he was rescued, and the wife, who was granted anonymity to describe sensitive mental health issues, said,
"Oh my God, he jumped on. He did the thing. Oh my God, he actually."
She was not contacted by Navy officials until 4 days later.
Good.
But one of the last text messages she received from her husband read, "I think the boat is finally getting to me, and I really don't think I can keep up my peace act anymore. You were right about it all not being okay. We were supposed to leave 5th Fleet on July 15th, but then something had to come up, and my last hope of being home soon was gone. I'm really trying to not feel negative or hopeless, but between the Wi-Fi and not knowing when I will come home and..."
The Wi-Fi? You're on deployment, bro, and you're worrying about the Wi-Fi.
"Not knowing what is happening back at home."
I mean, come on. Again, you're on deployment.
"It's really getting to me. I don't think I can do another deployment after this, and I don't even know if I can finish this deployment." So, Allison...
And he jumps off the ship.
The wife says that her husband tried to raise his mental health concerns up the ship's chain of command, but he was brushed off. How should Navy commanders be handling this situation?
So, hold on, I'm trying to get through this ad here. So, somebody that jumps off the ship probably isn't going to be in the service for very much longer. That's close to going AWOL. For you to not have, because there's different avenues. So he said something and they brushed it off. That's not necessarily something that's commendable, but look, it depends on how much he said something and what exactly was the proper channel at the time. Because in my opinion, they had anonymous drop boxes in the Air Force, so you could just report people. To me, it's just a big falsehood. It's just this one guy this is his story to make sure that he doesn't lose his job. So he's trying to say all this shit. If there's literally that many people on the ship and none of them are saying this shit, I'm pretty sure it's one of those things that it's just like this guy just couldn't handle it without the Wi-Fi loss and the not knowing this and that, and like to think that he was still in communication with his wife and his wife wasn't able to verify information to him is kind of sad, and it makes you think like what's wrong, like what is the disconnect here? Because I know that you're not supposed to be on the phone when you're during shift hours, and you know it just depends. You're on swing shift, mid shift, and or night shift, and or graveyard, whatever you want to call it. And it's just it's completely different. Some people can't take being away from family for very long, and to me it was neither here nor there. When I was away from my family, yeah, like I knew they were okay, like I had faith, and that's kind of what you need to do. In times like this, especially in a war zone environment, you need to have the faith. And this is another thing that I wanted to talk about. But it was just kind of like, it seems to me like they're kind of steering this on, like, why didn't the commanders do something? And in my opinion, each and every individual person has to have integrity enough to know that, like, in your own life, if your wife isn't like able to give you information, that's like, come on, like, what's I mean? Like, bro, when I was in jail, I called my wife every day. Like, and I learned every day. I read the newspaper every day. And, like, it's kind of stupefying to me that they don't have a Starlink system on every one of these ships. But then again, that would make sure that they would be trackable, right? So we have to understand that, like, he's in a deployment range. And we can't compromise our positions by having a global positioning signal constantly being able to be traced by other people that have the Starlink. You know, it's just it's not right. And it's just it's so crazy because you're jeopardizing everybody on board, the millions of dollars of the vessel, everything like that, American security, what it stands for, all of that, not just the people, everything. It's like a hero dying, and then we're only going to be talking about how stupid it was, that like the reason why they did it was because they locked onto the Wi-Fi signal because somebody needed to be on the feed to figure out what was going on the home front. Like, this is what I mean. Like, bro, like, you gotta like realize when you sign the pen, you know, sign on the dotted line, that pen kind of was your sword, and you're like, now you need to put your word where your mouth is. All right. And like, you failed. I mean, in my opinion.
Reporting on the specific aspect of what's happening on the USS Lincoln. Yeah. One of the things that really disappointed me about this reporting, as somebody who has led troops in wartime, is that there's always an imperative, whether you lose somebody, they're killed in action or injured, to quickly get word to their loved ones. Because the last thing you want, and I think what happened in this.
What I know what it was is that they knew that it was treated more of a suicide threat, like mental state of well-being, versus an active like type of, and didn't really know like if there was a submarine or something that he was gonna get onto. Like, I mean, not like that, but you get what I mean. Like the soldier, what happened when that one soldier went away, and that dude, I thought I showed him on my channel. If not, it's in the Discord, so join the Discord. And just the fact that he's basically, he only lived 10 years after the incident where he got sniped going out to go find that guy that walked away from his post, basically, you know, changed his life. His family stayed with him. It was a tremendous load on their family, and you know, they don't have their father now because of it. And stuff like that should not be treated lightly. And in my opinion, the instability of that move could have cost soldiers their lives. And in my opinion, like, that's why, like, all those talks had to be said before the wife, because the wife would have just, like, I mean, it's in neither here nor there. It's in a wartime incident. And like, it's sorry to say, like, things change a little bit here and there, like, right? Like, so like they had to figure out what was going on before the wife did. Like, they gotta understand, like, what if the guy wasn't talking? Like it's not
for somebody to hear from somebody who's other than a uniformed military personnel as to the condition of their loved one who is abroad. And, you know, of course, it's definitely concerning that, you know, it sounds like this service member was raising alarm bells about his mental health and not getting the care that he needed on board the ship.
Again, like I said, there are drop boxes. I know that like back in 2010 that there were drop boxes even in the Air Force. So like if somebody was doing something illegal, you could snitch on them. Like there wasn't like it wasn't just your chain of command, it was all chain of command. And it doesn't really make sense to me that like nothing else was done, because I'm sure that either the time frame, because they're not explaining how much time. In my mind, it's like, so what? Like they're supposed to just like flop on this one guy's whim and leave the ship astern because this one guy can't get Wi-Fi, bro. Do you understand this shit? Like, do you understand like this statement? And then you're defending that statement like you're fucking gold. Like this shit's crazy to me. I don't get it.
Tragic decision to go overboard. His family should have been notified very quickly. And it's
tragic decision to go overboard. You think?
I actually hope that it's investigated as to why the command didn't more aggressively address the situation and making sure the next of kin knew what was happening on the ship.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning Priya Sridhar, too. She's a rock star of a reporter. But, Kevin, President Trump's comments about the carrier not being out there nearly long enough, they seem to align with his plans to continue the blockade in the Strait. This from someone who deferred his own military service 5 times and never served. But with the USS Washington heading to the Middle East, can the U.S. ensure that the next round of sailors won't endure similar conditions? Is the U.S. prepared to extend this blockade indefinitely, as Trump suggested this week?
Well, there's a lot there. I think a lot of these comments from Trump and Hegseth, I just don't take.
That's a lot to answer. What I'm trying, what he would is, it's like, look, I'm not the commander in chief. I'm also not allowed to sit there and explain how these people even survived at sea for 240 days without, like the supply chains and all these different types of things. All I'm trying to say is we make sure our sailors are fed and happy when they're out on deployment, okay? Not to mention the different types of MREs that they have now that we did not, and I covered that on my channel recently on the Maha movement, and like there is definitely it's no better time to be in the military than now, because like you really are just like being cherished, in my opinion, and it just kind of, instead of expendable. So especially that we're talking about this one soldier, dude, do you think that like 10 years ago, like we would have given 2 Fs about a soldier that like jumped off a ship if it wasn't because Trump was like doing this shit? Like we would not have, we wouldn't even known, because the news wouldn't have even picked the story up, because they would have just been like, well, this makes the country look bad or whatever. Like, why would I? And like, but they do it now anyway because it's a political game. Like you have no idea the stupid shit that like I have to, like, to me, both parties are failing right here, because both parties are simulating that their party is partying. And like, I don't think we're partying right now, bro. Like, I think right now, like we're at war with each other and ourselves, and like we really need to like focus on each other's like mental well-being after our own. Like, to be quite frankly, like it's like, what? So are you trying to call the commanders need mental health training awareness or something? Like, what are you trying to say at the end of the day here? Like, what was that veteran trying to say? Like, I'm a veteran. What was that veteran trying to say, dude?
When I've seen the replay many times of Trump making that quip, and I can't tell if he's saying he doesn't think that the troops have been deployed long enough on that ship, or if he just thinks the war hasn't gone on long enough because we got to keep fighting. But it all just kind of reflects the bit of a callousness and how unusual it is for leaders like Hegseth and defense secretaries to speak this way when these kinds of wrongs are exposed through the press and make their way up the chain of command. I was on air yesterday with Leon Panetta when he was secretary. I covered like 8 defense secretaries, and every time there was a news report that would reveal mold on the base or some problem with military families, especially when it came to families, almost always the secretary or the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, whoever got that information through the news, would say, I saw these reports and we're going to do something about it, and we're going to look into it and make sure it doesn't happen again. And
see,
and play with that way. It's not an immediate
better now
attack
than
on the
ever
press.
to be in the military, because at least if they're reporting on something, they're gonna get it done. You know why? Because it makes them look bad. So like, this is what I'm trying to say is like, if you don't do this with like, if another one was in party power or whatever, like to me it's all a bunch of bullshit and it's a political game. Because like, I know when Obama was in there, like there was still shit going on. Like we had to evacuate a dorm in San Antonio because of gas leak, and we all could have, like, the first floor could have for sure died from carbon monoxide overnight if their CQ failed, or if our charge of quarters people who were sitting there like hearing the alarms or have any types of like concerns for that gas smell. And then people came in with the one, they're like, oh my God, we got to evacuate the dorm now. Everybody get out now. Everybody get out now. Like, you know, this is like not a drill. Everybody get out of the dorm now. You might die from carbon monoxide if like, make sure you bang it on everyone's doors when you're coming out now. Everybody leave now. And it was this big deal. And it was just like, okay, but did anybody hear about that? Did anybody hear about the success of that? Like, no. But does anybody understand like how detrimental that would have, like if a whole barracks of new I was gonna say trainees, but we're already kind of like past BMT at that point. So I don't know. It's just kind of like airmen technical school trainees died. Like it's basically a college dormitory. We had to go over to like a whole sectioned off wing of another dormitory. They were just to like pack everybody in there like almost for a room because they didn't have anybody else, because that's just how efficient we run. And it's just, we don't have any extra room. So to me, it's just kind of nuts. And how old the water heaters were, and that the problem really could have been a lot worse. Like I said, the leak could have been a lot worse, and it just happened really, really quick and violently, and it would have been tragic. But thank God that didn't happen. And anyway, it's just stuff that we don't.
So it's hard to know.
We don't hear. But now we're here because of the political game.
How much that the leadership, the political leadership, like a Hegseth, takes this seriously.
It's like
a Hegseth who was a soldier, but was never the manager of a cabinet-level department of the U.S. government, has never had to deal with a war like this, with this kind of, with these personalities and this kind of extension and uncertain future from the White House. We just don't know. Yes, the war could go on as long as the president of the United States wants it to go on. I think most people look at this war and think that it'll stop the minute that Trump's.
Nothing to do with Trump. Has nothing to do with Trump. You don't understand. Like somebody else was gonna was gonna stop that. Like if I got in power, I was gonna stop that. Like if anybody with a common sense brain was gonna stop Iran. And I think that the really only way forward here is to stop or to help Pakistan regain control of some of their territory with them, to help weaken them in a sense that they know that they now have to fight a proxy war with their neighbors again, instead of just like relying purely on attacking our corridor, and then we allow more fluid transit from Pakistan through around the area, and in a sense regain global right. I think it would kind of right or wrong in the sense that some people got written out in that timeline, but I will talk more about that. Like I hate pausing this stuff too much. Here, we'll finish this up.
Iranians have a card. They figured out that as long as they don't need every missile in the world or nuclear capabilities to keep this war going, all they need is one drone to hit one ship in the strait, and now they can poke.
That's okay, dude. Isn't that anywhere? Like you yourself literally just like exploded the vulnerability of everywhere. Isn't it just a drone everywhere? Isn't it just Kobe falling out of the sky because his helicopter like failed or something? We don't even understand what that was. Like we don't like understand the depths of the deep, dark terror organizations. How they often say that they're embedded in our infrastructure, our own culture, and they're sleeper cells and they're ready to strike and they're waking up, and it's just like, oh my God, I hate this whole comment shit. But then with people like this, they're like, it just takes out, it's just like it also explains that the majority of the people, they want nothing to change that much that they think it's the end of the world when a drone hits a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. Do you understand how crazy that is? Like I mean, honestly, like, it's not about that. It's about the precedent that organization is putting forward. And if you're going to allow an organization to sit there and throw even one stone at a ship and expect it to be like accepted as, peaceful, and it's just not. We're tired of giving an inch and they're taking a mile, bro. Like, you don't understand. This has been 50 years of this shit, and you're going to sit here and be like, oh my God, Now we're worrying about our veterans that are out there. They signed the line. They did the thing. They maybe that person didn't think that he would ever go on deployment, and it wouldn't be him, and that he thought he would be going back because it was like, like different or whatever he thought. And then it's like, okay, well, now we got to hold on and have some grit and integrity in ourselves. And I don't think he has that, bro. I honestly don't. So we stopped talking about that guy a little bit and more about the politics of this, but I'm still stuck on that one guy who jumped off the ship. And now all of a sudden this is all a big bullshit, like blown up, like extrapolated mess. Because news is just that. Fake news lately. Like, this is crazy.
And he's fighting back with even bigger firepower. So we're in this cycle until a lot of people think until Trump says we're not going to fight back anymore. We're going to get out of this and cut his losses or call it whatever he wants. It's just going to keep going on. So we can just hope that the next carrier on its way is better equipped, that the supply chain is ready to go, that they figured out alternatives, because that strait is going to be closed for a long time. And again, every single one of those bases that has been proven now that the Iranians can hit them with missiles, hit them with drones. They've changed the calculus of the United States forward deployed military in the Middle East for as long as we can tell.
This work was created using the Kimi K3 model. As we all know, K3 boasts powerful capabilities and can produce...
Allison, what should members of Congress be asking the DoD as it investigates the situation on the carrier? Who should be held accountable?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of questions about how conditions on the carrier are being managed right now. But I think, to one of Kevin's points earlier, this ship, deployed in November. This was a ship that was going.
And I want you to understand that we're not even talking about our hidden stealth nuclear submarine sailors. Like, we are talking about a sailor who was on a fucking aircraft carrier. Like, this thing had capabilities of, in an emergency situation, receiving supplies. Any ship can. Anything can. I have no idea. In what realm of reality do you think that we would leave our soldiers out there vulnerable to starvation? Or, I mean, like, this is really, it's punitive thinking to think that the greatest nation in the world, you think that we would leave our military out there with no food. I really do. It drives me nuts.
Rotation to sea. It's before we invaded Venezuela and before we launched attacks on Iran. And I think the broader question for the Department of Defense...
submarines are supposed to be stocked to go under, I think it's underseas for 3 months without surfacing or something like that. Meaning that they can't receive anything from ports or I'm sure you can offload stuff on a dinghy from a aircraft carrier and then like a mobile port out in the middle of the ocean. But the thing is who knows if during that incident a submarine isn't looking. Like, this is what I mean. Like, you have to have more of a strategic look on the battlefield more than just a wall of a steel, like, if that's what they're calling it, because it's not. It's so not. And it's the most sophisticated wall ever built, if you want to put it like that. And yeah, it's just it makes walls sound weird when you call aircraft carrier a steel wall. I don't know. It's just kind of, it's more than that, bro. Come on now, don't play stupid.
in chief is, are we preparing for these prolonged conflicts that we're getting ourselves into? Because I think the cascading effects of not preparing adequately is what you're seeing festering on the USS Lincoln right now. And so obviously, you know, there's a saying in the military, mission first, people always. We always have to take care of our people, which is not just taking care of their mental health.
One person, it's not even 0.1%. It's not even 2% of the actual number of people on that ship. So what the fuck are we sitting here even wondering? I mean, this is so crazy, this coverage.
Making sure that they're fed well, making sure that they have...
Again, this president has done more to make veterans better off and actual people, service members, fed correctly through the Maha movement. I have no idea what you're even talking about.
Of, you know, what other, you know, care that they need on the ship.
What care? What care? You're not even explaining the fact that he literally was bitching about Wi-Fi, bro. He was literally bitching about Wi-Fi.
That they're not getting right now because of logistics issues.
It's logistics to have Wi-Fi, right? Or is that a possibility to leak your position to an enemy?
But also clarity of mission. And so I think from the top...
You're sitting there, you're on post, you're walking your shit from flank to flank, and you take no shit from any rank, right? Does anybody know their non-commissioned orders? Like, I mean, come on now. Like, this is serious shit here. Like, I mean, I don't even believe... I need to start seeing credentials.
Down from the Pentagon to the USS Lincoln or the George Washington, we need to have oversight from Congress to make sure that what's being...
The soldiers used to have a grit to never have like the thought to jump off a ship. Like are we what the fuck are we doing here? Like, this is crazy.
Across the globe, not only is being managed well, but also
you were prided. You're the pride of the American military. You're the force for good. You don't jump off during deployment. You're a fucking disgrace.
The threats of the future too. We are actively watching our military force, not just the people, but also our equipment being degraded before our eyes. And we have to be really concerned about what that means about...
He has spent more on the American military than anybody else in the history, like recently, in the historic timeline that he's been president. Like, he's literally didn't think that... He's glad he rebuilt the military because he wouldn't be able to do the stuff now that he's doing if he didn't rebuild the military. So now you're trying to sit here and say that, like... everything's failing. No, I actually know they're not. So like, that's fake news. I don't understand how this shit's still in the air, bro. Like, almost 10 million subscribers. Not me. I'm actually taking my like back off of this.
Threats in the Pacific, for example.
Yeah. Allison Jaslow, Kevin Barron, guys both, thank you so much.
A 4-second shot is a clip. A 30-second shot is a scene. Now that sounds like a small distinction, but it's the entire difference between footage and storytelling. And for as long as generative video has existed, it's been stuck on the wrong side of that line. Today I want to show you...
In true American fashion, one Amazon delivery driver is going viral for her simple patriotic gesture during a stop at a military family's home. After dropping off the Amazon package, the homeowner's Ring camera footage shows her taking the time to untangle the home's American flag. But watch here at the end. When she is done, she takes the time to give Old Glory a salute before continuing on her route. And it's capturing the hearts of thousands online. Nativita Iris Muhammad is that patriotic Amazon driver, and she joins us now. Nativita, great to see you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Walk us through why you did that and what happened.
Well, let me first say that I love the American flag. I always have. When I was really young, both my parents made it clear to me the importance of the American flag and what it represented, the stripes and the stars. It was just always something that I understood to be very important. And I remember when I was younger, my father was burning leaves in the front yard, and he did something that it just made me really, really respect the flag. He walked over to the neighbor's house and took their flag down and tossed it in the fire. And I was in complete shock.
It's just...
And then he went over to the porch and grabbed a Walmart bag and pulled out a brand new flag and went and put it up. And he explained that it was important for the that we respect the flag and that it never be tattered or faded or any kind of way than other ways that they should be. And growing up in the military community, I mean, we just have always respected the flag just the same way as Ange Burnett does and her family. And so when I walked up, I do salute every flag, but there was something about this property. You could tell that there was a lot of patriotism. The yard was immaculate, and just the placement of the flag. When I turned around and seen it, I just felt like I needed to rescue a friend. So I couldn't walk by, and so I unraveled the flag, and I just felt like a salute. Again, I always salute the flag, but I took another look at it when I walked back. I don't know if anybody's seen that last little look before I completely turned around, just to give it the respect that it deserves, because I do believe that the flag represents our freedom in this country.
So you mentioned Angie Burnett. She is the homeowner. She saw the video and she said it was so meaningful. Her husband's a vet and her nephew served. This is what she wrote on Facebook. My husband's a veteran and 2 of my nephews have served our country. So the American flag isn't simply a decoration on our porch. It represents sacrifice, service, freedom, and the people we love who have worn the uniform. Thank you for taking those extra few moments. Thank you for treating our flag with such respect. Thank you for reminding us that there are still people who understand what that flag represents. And then she said, please, if y'all know who this is, I want to track her down. How was she able to track you down?
Apparently, it had already gone viral. So Amazon, shout out to Andre at Amazon.
We're going to discuss
Hold on, I gotta
yet another cosmic mystery, and this time in regards to explosions that should not happen the way they seem to happen. But before we discuss this mystery, I want to preface with this. For a few years now, a lot of astronomers were actually waiting for this. They've been waiting for something in the constellation of Corona Borealis, because a star referred to as T Corona Borealis, also known as the Blaze Star, was supposed to erupt. And that's because it's a classical example of what's known as a recurrent nova. It seems to explode roughly every 80 years, with the last big explosion being in 1946. And in every single case, it usually started with something like this, a kind of an outburst that seems to follow an actual nova a few months later. And that's exactly what scientists observed in 2023 and 2024, which is why by September of 2024, it was supposed to explode. Yet, it didn't. And as of today, as of August of 2026, the star is still quiet, and the nova still has not occurred. With this unusual delay now being a kind of a scientific mystery, and basically tells us that something about our models and our understanding of nova is not complete. Or basically that these types of explosions are way more complex and are definitely non-linear in the sense that they're a lot more difficult to predict. But while this particular star is keeping us waiting, other very similar stars have definitely been busy, with scientists in the last couple of years discovering a new type of mini-novas and even hybrid novas, as well as this new mystery we're going to be discussing today referred to as a helium nova. The one that seems to be even firing these very bizarre cosmic bullets into outer space. And so let's discuss these new studies and new discoveries in a bit more detail, but to understand why some of this is a little bit strange and why some of it is mysterious, let's discuss the definition first. What exactly is a nova, and specifically a classical nova? Because despite the name, these are not supernova. This is a very different phenomenon. And well, first, imagine a binary system, but in this case, of 2 slightly different stars. Here you have a white dwarf, or basically this very dense remnant of a star very similar to our Sun, and a normal companion star next to it. In essence, this is a result of a typical binary system, in some sense kind of similar to the one we find in the nearby Alpha Centauri. And so actually quite a lot of star systems will probably end up in a very similar way. But because the white dwarf is so dense, and because its gravity is so immense, at some point, if it's close enough to the star, it can literally start siphoning hydrogen gas from its neighbor. With all of this stolen gas now basically building up first as the accretion disk around the white dwarf, and then eventually landing on the surface and forming a kind of a dense layer. And though at first it starts as a very thin layer, eventually this builds up, and, as you can imagine, both the pressure and the heat inside this layer start to go up as well. As a matter of fact, the bottom of this layer becomes so ridiculously hot and pressurized that eventually it triggers your typical thermonuclear reaction. Or, just to rephrase this, it literally creates a hydrogen bomb on the surface of this white dwarf. A bomb that detonates and destroys the accretion disk and disperses all of this hydrogen that accumulated over time. And so here all of this material is blasted into space, with this white dwarf becoming thousands of times brighter for at least a few weeks. But
playing on iPhone? Now you can play Unlocked with Google Play Games on PC. Unlock rewards with Google Play Points. So the more you play, the more you earn. Go play on PC with Google Play Games. Download now.
Claude Code is an agentic coding tool that understands your codebase, edits your files, run commands, and integrates with your existing developer tools to help you get things done faster. It's available in your terminal, Visual Studio Code, the Claude desktop app, on the web, and JetBrains IDEs. But we'll be using it in the terminal for this video. If you've ever used Claude AI, you're probably wondering what the difference is between the two. Unlike Claude AI, Claude Code has direct access to your files, your terminal, and your entire code base. So instead of copying and pasting code back and forth, it can go in and do all the work itself. The easiest differentiator is that Claude Code works as an AI agent. An AI agent is a software that can interact with its environment and perform actions to complete a defined goal. The most basic way this can be done is by having a large language model in a loop in real time. AI agents have access to things like tools, external services, or other AI agents to help it reach its predefined goals. So what does that actually look like? Well, here's a couple of examples. It can read and understand your code base. You can ask Claude Code to explain a feature or trace a bug throughout your code. Claude Code can execute your build script, run your tests, install packages, and use the output to decide what to do next.
But unlike a typical supernova or a lot of other explosions, here both the white dwarf and his partner do not get affected as much and basically survive. In other words, following this explosion, they usually restart this process. And so in a typical classical nova, this process can repeat itself many times until the larger partner runs out of gas and has nothing else to give. But because all systems are different, this can be either extremely fast and happen every few years, or can be extremely slow and appear to happen just once, but in reality might happen every 100 or every 1,000 years, or possibly even longer. Or at least that's the general principle of the classical nova. Turns out that some nova do not really like this classical definition, and so basically they created their own thing, like the one scientists just discovered by looking at a star referred to as V445 Puppis, a star that had its last eruption in the year 2000, but it's actually only now the scientists realized this one is really strange. Because after basically 26 years, it became finally possible to look inside and to see what's happening. And well, actually because this nova produced this really bright explosion with a lot of emissions that made the observations of the star itself a little bit challenging. And well, it turns out that this is the only confirmed helium nova in the entire galaxy. In other words, it's the only nova that seems to explode with helium or because of helium and not because of hydrogen. And so in this system, the white dwarf isn't stealing hydrogen from the star, it seems to be feeding on a rare type of a helium star, or basically a star that has already lost its hydrogen layer and only has helium left behind. And so when this system exploded, the spectrum showed absolutely zero hydrogen, which is incredibly rare in astronomy, as hydrogen is basically the most common element in the entire universe. Yet here, there was nothing, and everything that was expelled was helium. With several recent studies you can find in the description, essentially exploring this idea in a bit more detail, and discovering that on top of all of this, this explosion is also firing these high-speed bullets, or these massive cosmic bullets, of oxygen-rich gas at ridiculously high velocities, approximately 9,000 kilometers or 6,000 miles per second. And we've never seen anything like this ever before. And once again, the only reason we even see these now is because the nova finally dissipated, and it's now possible to see certain things that were previously invisible. And here's actually a really cool shot showing us how this nova changed from 2005 all the way to March of 2007. But additionally, another study by Bradley Schaffer that was recently published and, as always, can be found in the description below, used some of the archival observational data going back to 1896 and basically focused on measuring the orbital period between these two stars. And he actually discovered that after every single explosion, the orbital period seems to have increased by approximately 2.5 minutes, which, though might sound like not a lot, suggests that the system basically lost mass, and a lot of mass, after every single explosion. And so here Schaffer discovered that every single eruption blows away such a huge amount of mass that it physically increases the orbit of these objects, making them move away a little bit farther apart. And this explosion was so violent that the white dwarf seems to have lost more mass than it accumulated as a result of all of this helium absorption. Which is actually a major discovery, because here it almost certainly confirms that at least some white dwarfs cannot possibly grow from this, or cannot get more massive from this, and thus cannot explode in Type 1a supernova that we've been seeing pretty much everywhere in the universe. A Type 1 explosion that happens when a white dwarf reaches a mass of 1.4 solar masses, and previously it was actually believed that it was because of this mass accumulation by siphoning the mass from the partner. But here, this discovery suggests that, at least for this nova, this doesn't seem to be the case. It essentially suggests that Type 1a supernova might happen for a slightly different reason, such as possibly white dwarf collisions, or even collisions with something more mysterious, which has been proposed previously, but never officially proven. And so, at least for now, this is once again going to remain a mystery. But then, on top of all of this, scientists have also discovered something we've literally never seen before anywhere, so-called millinova. And there were actually 29 of these discovered in the Magellanic Clouds. And this is a different type of a strange explosion because, as the name implies, they're not very powerful. Here, this particular star seems to brighten by about 10 to maybe 20 times, and does resemble a nova to some extent, but is usually 1,000 times dimmer than a classical nova. And on top of this, it emits currently cannot explain what's happening here and what exactly is producing these types of emissions that are mostly visible in the X-rays, because it basically implies a lot of very superheated material. And because 29 such events have been discovered so far, it means that it's something that does happen in certain systems. What though and how, that's another mystery. And last but not least, researchers have now also identified something that they refer to as a hybrid nova. Or essentially here, at least one nova, Nova Vulpeculae 2024, that was recently analyzed in a study in description, started as a typical nova, but then transformed into a different group involving different elements. And while here, this was basically as if a nova morphed into something else while it was happening in real time. Once again, nothing like this has been seen before. And this is also a challenge for modern classical models, suggesting that sometimes there is no single shell, and some white dwarfs seem to accumulate multiple elements, which can actually create multiple stage explosions and can even create very complex layers that change as they expand. Very likely because certain stars might possess a lot of different elements, and as the white dwarf accumulates them, they potentially form different layers on the surface, with each layer responding differently to a thermonuclear explosion on the surface of the object. And so in this particular case, this nova was observed to have multiple stages and resembled multiple types of nova at the same time. But in the end, what have we actually learned from all of these unexplained and bizarre explosions observed in the last few years? Well, first, this obviously tells us that the classical model does not explain everything and potentially does not really explain much. Because here some explosions seem to only produce some types of emissions, while other explosions, such as V1674 Hercules, seem to be so quick that they explode and dim in just over one day, while other nova remain very bright for months and even years, implying that for many of these explosions, we just don't really have any good model and any specific explanation. But at the same time, this also creates a bit of a problem for Type 1a supernova explosions, because in the past, all of them were explained as white dwarfs consuming a lot of mass from their partner, and eventually reaching the limit where they suddenly explode. Yet here, based on these recent observations, this also does not make much sense, because in several cases the white dwarfs were actually losing mass, and previous Type 1a supernova explosions did not contain any giant companions from which the mass could have been acquired. Which basically implies that even models when it comes to supernova are also not entirely correct. Right now, one of the best explanations potentially involves white dwarf collisions, or maybe some kind of an internal destabilization, possibly caused by something more exotic. But basically, when it comes to both nova and supernova, once again things just got a little bit more interesting. We're now moving from simple models and classical models that focus on one-size-fits-all explanation to something that requires new theories and very likely involves phenomena we still don't understand. With these observations showing us nova that can switch classes, nova that can fire these very bizarre cosmic bullets, and even nova that's only brightened by just a little bit, but also produce super hot matter on their surface. And while we're still waiting for that T Corona Borealis to explode, in the meantime, all of these new discoveries are definitely going to be rewriting astronomy textbooks. And by the way, I do hope it explodes at some point, because as far as I remember, in the last video from like 2 years ago, I promised that whoever can predict the date of the explosion might be able to win some kind of a prize. Well, since it hasn't happened, nobody wins yet. but I do expect it to explode at some point because I don't think our current theories are that wrong. But anyway, we'll definitely come back and discuss this more once there are some additional explanations. Until then, thank you for watching, subscribe, come back tomorrow to learn something else. Support the channel on Patreon where you can find additional videos without ads and can DM me directly, or by joining a channel membership that grants you early access. You can also support this channel by buying the wonderful Present t-shirt in the description below. Stay wonderful, I'll see you tomorrow, and as always, bye-bye.
Childcare. Guess what he said it was? Going to be $5 to $6 billion a year. So it's 40% more than he thought.
The key word here, folks, is estimate. Okay, remember the runaway train, train to nowhere in California? I think it's somewhere like 10, 20, 30 times overestimate. And they've got enough track to go from me to you.
Fastest, most vested, yes.
These numbers are scary. This is an estimate. To your point, it was almost half of that just a few months ago.
This is never going to happen. The free buses, people are getting on the bus.
We're already starting to see the recreation of Governor Gavin Newsom's billion-dollar bullet train, his high-speed rail to nowhere. They don't ever anticipate building it, but they can promise you this thing. It's very simple. You vote for it. He doesn't deliver and says, well, you know what? All we need is just a little more capital, a little more of your votes, a little more of your money, and then we'll build it. And they say, okay, well, all you have is a foot of rail. What did we get with our money? And they say, well, you know, it was a jobs initiative. We made 10,000 jobs in the state. And it's like, well, we're not voting for jobs. We're voting for progress. But again, if they keep on getting away with it, they're going to keep on implementing this garbage policy.
They're not paying because they think it started already. The MTA can't afford not to charge. Independent estimate, $1.1 billion. It would bankrupt the system. Don't expect the free buses.
It would be a boondoggle anyway. It would just be an absolute unmitigated nightmare.
It's so crazy.
And again,
don't be taking notes from Gunther.
Systems
He's
are created.
Be arrested
Capitalism
soon.
builds
Take my word
wealth.
for it.
It builds systems.
No
and socialism,
play on that
communism,
shit.
it's a parasite. It's a parasite
Yeah,
that
this
has
shit
to
cannot
exist
go
on
on.
top of capitalism.
We can't
He's
accept
got to
this
fail
shit.
for people to realize this. So you want a grocery store, $70 million. He's going to start about $5.
Even the dude that killed the CEO said he was guilty. I think it's about time that people stop lying and wasting the American taxpayers' money and realize that they fucked up.
They're going to be epic fails. That's my prediction. But
well, they just had to get a bailout from the state, and they chalked it up to a win. Oh, we balanced the budget in New York. No, you got a state bailout. And what's the first thing they did? How do we spend more than the money we just got bailed out with?
What's coming up on making money at 2 o'clock?
Today is huge. The market's at...
Okay, so calling them out for not having fast and free buses or not having universal child care. Or was it Booker T. Jones going out there in New York City and saying, this is the actual child care they are providing you out there with your hard-earned tax dollars to give it to anybody.
Zohar Mamdani is starting a new pilot program here in New York City. He is saying, bring your children to the park and we will watch them for free. In the 5 boroughs, I
do not want a horrendous crime to happen to one of these kids, but it's a ticking time bomb before something happens to somebody there under the care of these unknown individuals, these unknown city workers, probably not getting criminal background checks because it's Mamdani. These city workers to watch your kid in a park with pretty much no supervision over them.
Said around 500 children can come to these different locations and the parents can go and have a date night. He's even saying, we will feed your children while they're at the park. Here in New York City, hiring a babysitter can cost anywhere from $30 to $50 an hour. Yes. So he wants parents to have the opportunity to go and spend 4 hours without their children, and the government officials at the park are going to watch their children. We're not sure.
Yeah. 500 is a lot of kids to watch at the park, so if it costs you $50 an hour to watch one kid, are you really getting a 500 times, or maybe they got 2?
I wouldn't pay you to watch the Amish kids. This is fucking getting nuts.
4 babysitters, maybe let's say 5 babysitters, or even 50 babysitters at $50 an hour. Not gonna do the math right there. It's too much for me. But are you really gonna get a 10 times better babysitter through the government, or are you going to get the most unscreened person working for a fraction of the wages that doesn't care about it. Because, like, you know, a babysitter is like an independent contractor. They want to have a good relationship with the kid, the parents, so they can get hired next time, and probably like get word of mouth to the other neighborhood kids, babysit them as well. If you're a government worker, essentially like a DMV worker, the kid starves, the kids get in gladiator fights, so the kids come up missing. Why would you care? Because your salary is guaranteed. You are going to get the worst, most dangerous version of babysitting at this
This is
outdoor
like
park.
a very good existence.
This is just
like, I love his show right here. Like, that's exactly my concept to that point. I was thinking the same thing, man. There is just no way that this is going to end good.
going to be a tragedy waiting to happen. I don't want to be able to say I told you so, but I think it's coming very quickly.
I think there's
exactly
just, like,
who the
no
babysitters will be,
other way
but
that
they're going to be
that
funded
can
by
be,
Mamdani.
bro.
Many people are saying there is no way on earth they would bring their children to a random park in the city and let
Good parents would refuse. Bad parents are going to jump at this. And then you're going to see, oh, how come there's a disparity between the rich kids and the poor kids? It's like, okay, maybe the rich kids read their kid a story and get them a home-cooked meal. Maybe the poor kids get dropped off the park for, like, DMV employees to kind of keep tabs on them at 10 p.m.
random people watch them. Even people are saying, well, this is a great way to indoctrinate children.
True.
Others are saying Zora
I feel
Madani is
it.
trying to do something nice for the parents here in New York City. Would you ever drop your children off at a park and have random people watch them?
I think this isn't necessarily
Why
Mamdani trying to
in
do
the
something good for
hell
the
would
parents.
I want
I think it's
somebody to watch
Mamdani
my
trying to
kids
have a
that I don't know
semblance
who they
of
are?
delivering on a campaign promise. Universal
So-
free childcare, whatever. And what is the cheapest version of that?
Hold
Not
on.
having a building that has to pass
Right.
building codes and employing people to be there all the time. How about we have a public park that we already own, and then don't have to have cameras, don't have to have
There we go.
activities. You just put them out there and have the cheapest, least qualified person to watch over them. This is just him trying to say socialism in action. You don't get your life isn't more like Elon Musk
I thought it was
with
gonna keep going.
nannies and state-of-the-art preschools. Your life is more like, sad to say, homeless people. Where do homeless kids hang out? The park. And now to where do
I know.
Mamdani's parents that need a date night have their kids hang out at? The park.
Yeah, like, it's
Especially
not. This
in
is
New
the
York City.
1920s.
Just so
The
everyone
parks
is
are
aware, this
dangerous.
is not
What
an
are you
ongoing
doing?
program yet, but it is absolutely real. New York City
There's
will
something to
babysit
campaign
500
on.
kids for Parents' Night Out, and here's some information on that. It's going to be held on August 16th.
Very weird for kids 6 to 13 only. Why is that the parameters?
4 p.m. to 8 p.m., exactly 4 hours. It'll be held at the designated parks. For children ages 6 to 13, it'll be 100 kids per site. There is pre-registration, and there
How much staffing for 100 kids? And then how much staffing for 100 kids would be required at an actual daycare? I wonder if the numbers, if it senses the city, they can just pull away all the red tape. Like if you need to have one proctor per 30 kids at an indoor daycare, it's like a private.
Pre-registration required. Online. First served. First come, first served. Fills up. It filled up. It filled quickly. I don't even believe it, bro. Supervised by trained NYC park staff, including urban park rangers. Are you kidding me, bro? What does that even mean? That's not like national park ranger. That's not the same type of thing. Like, this is, I've never heard of an urban park ranger. Let me look at this up. An urban park ranger is an employee who protects municipal green municipal green spaces. So I guess parks maybe. Manages city park facilities. There you go. And connects urban residents with nature. So urban residents. So are they busy doing this job? I don't even know. I never knew they existed till just now. Unlike background rangers in remote national forests. Hold on. Let's see. I can actually show you guys this one here. On a large screen. There you go. Unlike backcountry rangers in remote national forests, urban rangers work directly inside city limits to balance public safety, environmental education, and community relations. Does it say anywhere in its core duties down here that they're supposed to be watching babies? I had no idea. Public education. Yeah, but that's not babysitting. Okay, public education, lead nature walks, school programs. Oh shit, wait a minute. Was that just added? We're going to have to do a lot more work into this subject, but this is so sketch, bro. This is not okay. Oh man, and outdoor recreation activities like kayaking or climbing walls for city residents. Rule enforcement. Patrol city parks to ensure visitor follows local codes regarding leashed pets. Oh shit. Parking facility reservations and curfews. Like somebody who came out here in the middle of the desert and told my girl to put a leash on our dog when we were literally less than like a block away from our house. She was looking for me on a walk. Like that's the oversight shit that makes me literally cringe, bro. Like that type of badge honor, like you need to say that, bro. Like they didn't even have a body cam on and they were just like they had to get that out. This just drives me nuts. Public safety and aren't we're at danger more than anybody else. There's nobody else out here. Like that's the craziest shit in the world. Handle visitor disputes, assist lost individuals, and connect vulnerable or unhoused populations with city human services. So he's basically snitching on the people who are supposed to be taking care of the homeless in these situations. Oh shit. Oh my god. Okay, so wildlife and environmental care. Respond to local animal concerns. Aid injured urban wildlife and direct habitat resource projects. So basically animal control. So animal control is now supposed to be doing not only a school program, but we're allowing them to take our babies in as a daycare center. This is literally too much. This is he didn't read that. Like he did not read that. This bro did not read that. I just did that for us. But like what you need to understand is like this shit right here needs to stop, bro. Like this is insane. Free dinner and snacks provided. Where is all this money coming from, bro? So like for ages 6 to 13 only. This is such a grooming sketch thing too, because wouldn't you want daycare for somebody like for a baby that would be like, we're thinking of a child like from fucking 1 to 5. We're not even thinking 6 to 13. Like I think my parents let us stay at our family's friend's house one time because they were rich and because they needed a night alone. One time, and they never did it again because it freaked my sister out too much. And I didn't know what was going on either. I didn't think they were in trouble. They tried to explain to us that they were having a good time. And I was like, okay. I took it like they were fine and that they would eventually come and pick us up. I had no sense of time. They explained how many hours, but when you're a kid and you don't know hours, it's like whatever. But like this is pretty much insane to me that like you have to be pre-registered. Do these parks rangers, do they even know that they're getting all this stuff put on their plate? Like, do they even know? And like, these are the people that are supposed to be taking care of the homeless. So like, if they get all this tax saturated with daycare centers, what are the homeless? What there's homeless everywhere, bro. Like, I don't even want to talk about this. This is crazy. This is insane. We should be bolstering these people to help the homeless, not giving them another corridor to say, hey, dude, look, we're going to be now needing you to babysit kids in the park. Okay. Like you don't get a building, you don't get AC and they're literally from ages 6 to 13. So yeah, they're screaming around, running around. Yeah. That age, not the younger ones, just once in a blue moon. No, just degenerate parents who don't want to see their kids. Like, wouldn't you want to see your kid from the ages 6 to 13? Like, obviously, like from people who like need to work or something like that like they would have money for a babysitter. So like this would literally only be set up for people who are living off the system and literally do not give a fuck about their kids. Like, I do not like this at all. Hold on. All right.
100 kids in our city-owned one, and then they'll wonder why is there such a disparity between rich kid daycare and city-provided daycare. I wouldn't be surprised at some point in time they'll try to outlaw private daycare and force everybody into their indoctrination part.
There'll be activities
complete
for the kids,
an event waiver and obtain free park.
What a lot of people are rightfully worried about is a
center.
No, he's not. Wall Street isn't reading. Like parents must complete an event waiver and obtain a free parks or recreation center membership for the kid or whatever. I wonder if the event waiver is like when you park your car at a parking lot in the hood, and it says,
he was reading that.
building not responsible for the damage to your vehicle while parked in this facility. Is that the same waiver? I wouldn't be surprised.
A program like this could be very easily turned into something more long-term, and it is very unlikely that the government just wants to do something nice for parents and give them a night out. There is probably some kind of ulterior motive.
That grin is very
Somebody's
very
getting paid millions for this. Yeah, it's disgusting. But
yeah,
at least we
it's
know
not
now,
good.
even in New York City, Mamdani's getting booed in public because he's not as popular as they want you to think he is.
Uh-oh. Do this poll. Everybody scan that QR code and do the poll, please. Thank you.
Again, this is the Defund the Police Party who can't go anywhere without being protected by plenty of armed officers with the ability to arrest you and ruin your life forever. But also, even at an event that you had to go to knowing he was there, he's still not amongst people that are his supporters. Because remember, I don't have that article pulled up, but they said Mamdani's supported by an army of bots, but they believe the bots are coming from the city's capital, like the Capitol building, or I forget what they call it. But they're coming from Mamdani himself. That is a rumor right now. He's the only guy. The Knicks just won a championship. This is the championship, like the greatest thing that happened in New York City in a long time. He's the only guy that can get booed in New York City saying "Go Knicks." The mayor. Apparently, the guy so popular he beats everybody else. Yeah, City Hall. That's where it's coming from. And the fact that he's doing it with a smile on his face and he's just maintaining composure lets you know this isn't the first time it's happened to him.
Yeah.
Me going somewhere and saying, "Oh, hey, Decoy, do you want to go speak at this college campus, or do you want to go speak at this event like it's I don't know, what do they have, the Turning Point USA thing? You want to go speak at, it's in Arizona, I forget what it's called. Do you want to go there and do something? Okay, cool. If I went up there thinking I'm going to be amongst people that are like my viewers and my supporters, and everybody's saying, F you, you suck, or whatever, and I'm like, it would throw me off because I'm not used to getting booed like that to my face. The simple fact that he can have that weird fake smile and keep going forward as if this is nothing new makes me think this happens everywhere. It's just the first time the New York Post got footage of it. It's just...
Thank you to my brother. He's telling them, boo!
Didn't Karen Basota get the same exact thing? She was up there with
Thank you.
Was it Corrupt? There's like a rap concert. She shows up there with her Cortezes, thinking she's gonna be like beloved by the people there at the concert, and she was getting booed too. Well, thanks for the Prime sub, he's so. They just drowned him out. The rap air horn's the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for some more dancing? Oh, no, we're not. We got first. Somebody on a board. Do you want to see who's getting the award? Come on, guys, I want some energy here.
And how many of these coppers, you're not saying, oh, you're betraying your oath to the people, but it's like, how many of these coppers have to protect this one guy and be there and just be happily serving this and knowing, being full aware, if you have to respond to a 911 call, crazy guy passing off a fake $20 bill and then ODs on the drugs that he stuffed in his mouth, and he's done this before. If you are the one they're arresting him, well, thanks for the Prime sub and on his dead. If you are the unfortunate copper that responds to that call, Mamdani will not flinch to ruin your life forever and throw you in prison forever and forever paint you as a racist and pretty much immortalize the victim of law enforcement. You have to have some sort of level of maybe you need the salary, maybe you can't get hired somewhere else, but there's got to be a certain level of, I don't even know how to phrase it right now, but it's, he'll turn his back on you, but here you are putting your life on the line. New Yorkers are idiots. They're cheering on voting for rent freezes in New York City.
A summary of Proposal 1 is as follows. 1 year lease, 0%. 2-year lease, 0%. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Motion. Apathy? No, it's submission, I think.
Did it not
We're adjourned. Thank you.
Yes. Cheering on the rent freeze, not knowing how terrible it's going to make your living conditions in any building that has a rent freeze in it. But again, not New York, but a place in Canada that says, hey, we're going to have a rent-controlled apartment. So they were sold on something, and this is a perfect example of what happens when you're promised state-sponsored housing it comes to back.
A funny story, like the landlord died, and then the new landlord didn't raise the rent. Thank God. So
to bite you in the butt.
When I woke up this morning, I didn't expect
God
to see my building
good.
in the news. But this is my building that is a
God
part of a
is-
development that is getting federal funding to develop rental housing
Federal funding isn't federal funding; it's taxpayer funded.
on this site that will eventually lead to the demolition of all of this rent-controlled housing. Devil is always in the details, and the apparent 184 affordable units that are going to be created on this site that are going to be funded by the federal government, 121 of them are required rental replacement units from this building that is going to be demolished and evict tenants. This is the perfect case study of how federal funding that focuses solely on building, supply, doesn't address the loss of deeply affordable rent-controlled housing like my building.
Oh, it's my building. My building. I was impacted. I'm not going to sit here and make a guess as to your political values due to your nose piercing. I think a lot of people look at the ballot and say, "Oh, more affordable housing." Yes, I want that.
Man, it
Wait,
looks like
you want to
a-
demolish my
like a
affordable
weird
housing to build
building.
more affordable housing? And now that I'm kind of, since I had affordable housing, I moved up the food chain in terms of how much income I have.
There's weird rigid
Now I don't
waves on
qualify
it.
for new set of affordable housing. They just don't
Doesn't
get it
even look
because they
nice.
always think socialism, government, command
Ugh.
economy is going to make their life more like Elon Musk, more like Jeff Bezos.
More like Elon
when in
Musk.
reality, it's
Yeah,
going
it
to make
doesn't work like
your
that.
life more like the homeless bum on the street.
No, it makes it more like the box they use to get through the day, bro. Like you are just that box, okay? That's all.
And in certain cases, actively contributes to it. Can't even begin to express to you how much suffering, stress, overwhelm, and anxiety the tenants in this building have gone through to fight for the deal that we did with our developer. And so to know that federal funding is allowing them to build on this site, which will eventually...
And I wonder if the property owner sold their property to the government to build that new rent-controlled apartment.
I hate nose
if they
piercings
didn't
like
essentially
that
unionize the
so
tenants and
fucking
say,
much.
"Hey, we want this rate," if they were able to give it at a fair market value, would the value of the tenants paying rent be more than the government's bailout? Essentially, you're not making money on your rent-controlled apartment, and you're actually taking a loss. How about we give you $2 million instead of you losing money every year? How about that? Did you pretty much negotiate your own demise and not even realize it?
eventually evict us from our homes is
You're homeless
infuriating.
now. You're homeless now, and now you are forced to be on the government's teach. And again, you're seeing that over in New York City right now, fighting for the rent freeze, cheering it on when it happens, even though it's probably going to be tossed out in the courts because it's illegal to just circumvent the laws in New York City and just pass your rent freeze anyways. It's going to be fast and free buses all over again. You were promised fast and free buses, and what do they label it now? It is
1.1
fast
billion.
buses and better service. Didn't get that. Couldn't deliver on it. But it's just they know you vote with identity, not ideology, and then or with their ideology they've hijacked, and now you guys pretty much got to live with the consequences.
So you want to start a podcast?
Okay, so here's some of the things. I was supposed to do this lionfish excerpt. Hello. One second, the phone's on the charger. I gotta go grab it and then bring up the lion. Bring up the lionfish. Hold on.
The "eat 'em to beat 'em" model turns an ecological crisis into clean food and a viable local industry by targeting invasive lionfish across the Atlantic, Gulf Coast, and Caribbean. The ecological problem. Reef destruction. A single lionfish can reduce juvenile native fish populations on a reef by up to 79% in just 5 weeks, devastating native grouper, snapper, and parrotfish stocks. No natural predators. Because of their venomous spines, native predators do not hunt them, and a single female can lay up to 2 million eggs per year. Harvesting barrier. Lionfish rarely strike standard hook and line bait. They must be actively culled via spearfishing by divers or specialized deep water traps. The clean food angle. Premium quality. Lionfish yields a firm, buttery, mild white meat similar to hogfish, red snapper, or grouper. Nutritional profile. It is higher in heart-healthy omega-3 fatty acids than native snapper and grouper, while testing exceptionally low in heavy metals like mercury. Safety. Only the 18 external spines contain venom, which breaks down under heat. The meat itself contains 0 toxins and is entirely safe to fillet and eat.
When I get permission, I'm gonna play the audio for this guy. I didn't want to like have to worry about any stuff like that. All right, so I cut off over here. Well, I cut off up here at safety. I'm trying to get it to register here. Hold on, maybe if I pause this. Okay, it's gonna load. A little different because I just told it something. Okay, here we go. We're gonna get a little sci-fi with aquaponics and lionfish in space. But yeah, I just thought it would be nice because they don't, you know, they're always looking at water down there on Earth, and don't they want to like have an aquarium to look at? No, they can eat the fish. That's all. Like, it doesn't taste like fish. It sounds like a good thing. Okay, so dun, 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 dun. So here's the first one. The safety contains only 18 external spines contain venom, which breaks down under heat. The meat itself contains 0 toxins, as an entirely safe to fillet and eat. So, as we saw yesterday, we watched somebody eat this raw and even lick the spines. He just said like, don't poke yourself with it, but he just straight up like licked it, pulled the spine out of it and licked it. It was just like, okay, just to prove the point, and then to show like what to do and like clip the spine off, and it's just okay. So it just seems to be like it's a big stigmatized thing, like nobody's dealing with it, or maybe we just don't know how big of a blessing it is that we could like reverse this problem into a blessing. Same thing as a sarcasm. The it's kind of like seaweed or whatever, big seaweed continent coming over for the El Nino and the effects or stuff like that. It's just going crazy right now. So anyway, we're building an economic incentive for fishermen. Direct supply chains, establishing direct pipeline contracts between spear fishermen, and local seafood markets or restaurants ensures a consistent wholesale price, $6 to $10 per pound, whole, covering fuel and dive cost equipment costs, a bounty and derby infrastructure. Expanding state-backed derbies and culling bounties allow divers to monetize off-grid reefs and deeper waters, where commercial diving isn't ordinarily profitable. Exactly, because like there's some stuff that's going on too deep, but we can't do anything about it. The divers can't go down that far, so we got to figure this out. Processing hubs, centralizing spine removal and cleaning facilities reduces the handling barrier for retail buyers and home cooks, scaling the market from a novelty into a staple seafood. And then, so I said this. And there's a picture of one filleted. Very good, very good. Okay, so we're going to listen to it spit all this, regurgitate this stuff out because, yeah, I still need to eat these pizza while it's hot.
The most effective gateway fish available because its flavor and texture closely resemble tender white meat rather than traditional seafood. 1. Why it passes the blind taste test. 0 fishy odor or aftertaste. Traditional fishy flavors come from dark, oily muscle tissue and rapid oil oxidation, like in mackerel, bluefish, or salmon. Lionfish consists almost entirely of pure, lean, white muscle tissue with virtually no fishy aroma. Texture profile. The cooked meat flakes into large, firm, moist chunks. In blind tastings, skeptics frequently compare it to tender chicken breast, hogfish, or mild crab meat rather than standard ocean fish. Flavor absorption. Because the natural flavor is sweet and mild, it readily absorbs marinades, blackened seasonings, citrus, or garlic butter without competing against them. 2. A clean protein alternative for sensitive diets. For people looking to avoid ultra-processed foods, farm-raised seafood, or heavy industrial meats, lionfish offers a clean, whole food alternative, low mercury and contaminants. Because lionfish grow rapidly and feed on small, clean reef prey, they test remarkably low in heavy metals and mercury compared to older apex predators like tuna or swordfish. 100% wild and untouched. Lionfish are strictly wild caught by divers, meaning zero exposure to aquaculture antibiotics, synthetic dyes, or farm feeds. Nutrient density. It delivers a complete, easily digestible protein loaded with anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, making it gentle on sensitive digestive systems. 3. Broadcast talking points and messaging strategy. Angle, core message, call to action, the blind taste test challenge. Think you hate fish? Lionfish will change your mind in one bite. Host live public tastings or community fish fries using tacos and blackened bites. Clean food independence. Replace factory farm.
So that was basically on the screen a lionfish that got out of a grouper's mouth because of the spines. So we got to really make sure that we eat these things. We can't just feed these things because they say that it's not going to work. It doesn't work. So they'll never be able to eat these things properly. They're going to end up killing themselves if we try to teach these things to eat them.
The Maha Clean Protein Pillar. Harvesting invasive species aligns directly with the core Maha philosophy, prioritizing nutrient-dense, chemical-free whole foods while eliminating reliance on ultra-processed industrial supply chains. Zero farm runoff or chemical inputs. Unlike factory farm tilapia or salmon, wild lionfish are completely free of artificial dyes, prophylactic antibiotics, and synthetic growth hormones. Low bioaccumulation, because they are fast-growing and feed on clean, small reef fish. Lionfish do not accumulate the heavy mercury loads found in long-lived ocean apex predators like swordfish or king mackerel. Ecological net positive. Traditional commercial fishing often leads to overfishing and habitat destruction. Lionfish harvesting is actively restorative. Every pound consumed directly protects native coral nursery habitats and biodiversity. The extinction balance. We do not have to worry about driving lionfish into global extinction. Native abundance. Lionfish are native to the Indo-Pacific, where natural predators, like groupers and sharks, native parasites, and food chain checks keep their populations stable and healthy. Targeted regional control. In the Western Atlantic, Caribbean, and Gulf of Mexico, they are an unnatural disruptor with no native checks. Intensive harvesting in American waters acts purely as targeted ecological weed management without threatening the global species. Orbital aquariums and space protein. The concept of closed-loop aquatic farming in orbit, known in aerospace engineering as bioregenerative life support systems, BLSS, is an active area of space food research by agencies like NASA, ESA, and JAXA. Closed-loop efficiency. Fish convert feed into edible protein far more efficiently than land livestock. Their nitrogen-rich waste can be filtered through nitrifying bacteria to fertilize hydroponic crops, aquaponics, creating a circular life support system. Microgravity precedents. Space agencies have tested microgravity aquariums, such as the aquatic habitat on the International Space Station, using Medaka and zebrafish to study bone density and closed water filtration. The Space Aquaculture Challenge. For an orbital habitat, herbivorous or omnivorous fish, like tilapia, carp, or barramundi, that can feed on space-grown microalgae or duckweed are the top candidates. Predatory fish like lionfish require live, meat-based feed, and their venomous spines would present a puncture and puncture safety hazard in a zero-G cabin environment. The underlying principle remains the same. Self-contained, nutrient-dense, decentralized protein production works whether you're restoring a local coastline or engineering a closed-loop life support loop in low Earth orbit. Want to look at how closed-loop aquaponic systems can be scaled for off-grid home setups? One, lionfish fin mechanics in microgravity. In a fully flooded orbital habitat tank, water is pressurized and contained, but buoyancy, gravity-driven floating, sinking, disappears. Why broad fins help? In zero-G, fish often experience disorientation and struggle to orient their trim without gravity telling them which way is up. The lionfish's oversized, fan-like pectoral fins act as wide control surfaces. They generate high drag and vector control at very low speeds, allowing stable hovering and precise 3-axis rotation without relying on forward velocity. The practical drawback: in closed aerospace life support, carnivorous fish require meat, protein inputs rather than simple microalgae or food scraps, and their rigid venomous spines pose a puncture risk to sealed bladder tanks and filtration membranes. 2. High desert container aquaponics. Why it solves the climate problem. In the high desert, conventional livestock like chickens suffer severe heat stress, drop egg production, and can experience high mortality when temperatures exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Soil farming also loses up to 90% of water to dry air and sand drainage. A repurposed shipping container addresses both problems simultaneously. Why it beats extreme desert swings. Massive thermal battery. 1,000 to 2,000 gallons of water have immense specific heat capacity. The water absorbs peak midday heat without spiking in temperature and radiates it back into the container during sub-freezing winter nights, eliminating wild temperature fluctuations. 90% plus water savings. Aquaponics recirculates the same water indefinitely. The only water loss is natural plant transpiration and minor evaporation. Climate enclosure. Sealing and insulating the container, using closed-cell spray foam or partially earth berming the exterior, isolates the system from dry desert winds and extreme heat. 3. Blueprint for an off-grid container setup. Component. Off-grid desert specification. Purpose. Shell and insulation 20 feet or 40 feet high cube container with 2 to 3 inches of closed-cell interior spray foam, R14 to R20. Stops radiant metal heat transfer, prevents winter freeze-ups. Tanks and lining. Food-grade HDPE liners, 45 mil EPDM, or recycled IBC totes cut into tank, grow bed modules. Prevents raw metal rust and chemical leaching into the water. Best fish species. Blue, Nile tilapia or channel catfish. Extremely hardy, tolerate wide temperature swings, 65 degrees Fahrenheit to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and thrive on plant-based feed or duckweed. Biological filtration. Swirl filter, solid waste, Rytero moving bed biofilm reactor, MBBR, with K1 media. Converts toxic fish waste, NH_3, into bioavailable plant food, No_3 carat. Plant production. Deep water culture, DWC, floating rafts or flood and drain expanded clay media beds. Leafy greens, herbs, squash, and tomatoes filter the water clean for the fish. Power system 2 kilowatts to 3 kilowatts rooftop solar array paired with a 24 volts, 48 VLFP battery bank. Powers 12 volts, 24 V brushless DC water pumps, LED grow lights, and continuous aeration. 4. Why isn't everyone doing it? Initial capital versus low-tech alternatives. A basic DIY chicken coop costs a few $100s. A reliable container conversion with insulation, food-grade plumbing, solar backup, and biofilters typically requires $3,000 to $8,000 in upfront DIY materials. Continuous oxygen requirement. In extreme heat, warm water holds significantly less dissolved oxygen. If an aerator loses power for more than a few hours, a dense fish population can suffocate. Reliable, low-draw DC air pumps and backup battery circuits are essential. Biological cycling time. Unlike an instant garden bed, an aquaponics biofilter requires 4 to 8 weeks to establish healthy colonies of Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter bacteria before stocking fish at full capacity. Once stabilized, containerized aquaponics provides a self-sustaining source of clean, wild-quality protein and fresh produce regardless of outside climate extremes. Want a step-by-step plumbing and sizing schematic for an IBC tote or container build? Economics. High desert off-grid versus orbital systems. Factor. High desert container aquaponics, DIY, orbital bioregenerative life support, BLSS. Upfront setup cost $4,500 to $8,500 total build cost.
Honestly, isn't that much?
50 million plus, R&D, spaceflight qualification, launch mass AT 60,000 80,000 kg. Operational costs $20.40 per month, fish feed, seed, minor water top minus UP. Hundreds of thousands per mission IN consumable resupply and power allocation. Protein output 150 minus 300 pounds OF fish per year plus 400 plus lbs OF vegetables. Micro minus yields primarily intended for metabolic studies and crew psychological supplementation. Primary economic ROI. Break-even IN 2 to 3 years BY replacing store minus bought groceries and high minus water traditional gardening. Long minus term life minus support mass reduction for multi minus year deep minus space missions, Mars transit. Core materials and filtration setup. Building a reliable desert container system requires separating solids before the water reaches biological and plant filtration. Structural shell. Use 20 FT high minus cube shipping container, $1,500 minus $2,500, lined with 2 inches of closed cell polyurethane spray foam to eliminate metal heat transfer. Tanks and grow beds. Food grade HDP EIBC totes, caged 275-gallon containers. Roughly 80-120 used, cleaned, or 45 mil fish safe EPDM pond liners. Plumbing. Schedule 40 food grade PVC with unplasticized solvent weld. Filtration stage 1, mechanical, radial flow filter, uses gravity and centrifugal force to settle out 90% of heavy fish waste at the bottom of a swirl cone, requiring 0 electricity. Filtration stage 2, biological, MBBR. A moving bed biofilm reactor filled with fluidized K1 micromedia. Aeration keeps the media suspended, allowing Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter bacteria to oxidize toxic ammonia, NH_3, into nitrate, NO_3 carat. Filtration stage 3, mineralization tank, an aerated holding tank where captured solid fish sludge breaks down over 14 days, releasing chelated iron, phosphorus, and potassium back into the plant beds without fouling the roots. Electricity and geothermal, what is truly free. Aquaponics has a very low electrical footprint, but the exact draw depends on how you manage heat and light. 1. Water and air movement, ultra-low draw, brushless 12 volts, 24 VDC water pumps and linear diaphragm air pumps consume between 50 W and 120 W. A modest 400W600W rooftop solar panel array with a 100 Ah lithium, Life PO4, battery bank keeps circulation running 24/7 off-grid. 2. Passive geothermal cooling, earth-to-air heat transfer, GOT, in the desert. burying 4-inch to 6-inch corrugated drainage pipes 4 to 6 feet underground taps into constant 58 degrees Fahrenheit to 65 degrees Fahrenheit soil temperatures. Running a low wattage 12 volts inline fan pulls hot 105 degrees Fahrenheit desert air through the subterranean loop, dumping excess heat into the earth and returning 70 degrees Fahrenheit air into the container for virtually zero power cost. 3. The lighting factor. If the container is completely closed, high-output LED grow lights consume 300 W to 800 W, which drastically increases solar panel and battery costs. The low power fix. Replace the container's roof or south-facing wall with twin-wall 16mm polycarbonate sheets, converting it into a hybrid solar aquaponic greenhouse that uses natural desert sunlight for free. High Desert Self-Reliance Blueprint. Decentralized agricultural engineering turns marginal land into productive hubs. Water independence. High desert wells and hauled water are heavily conserved because recirculating closed-loop systems use up to 90% less water than soil agriculture. Climate resilience. Insulating against extreme diurnal swings, sub-freezing winters to 110 degrees Fahrenheit summers, removes the weather risk that wipes out traditional open-air desert crops and livestock. Local food sovereignty. Combining hardy fish, like channel catfish or tilapia, with dynamic filtration produces a continuous, independent cycle of clean protein and fresh produce without reliance on industrial supply chains. Want a plumbing layout diagram detailing pipe diameters and flow rates for a 3 IBC system? One, the economics, natural biology versus 3D printed, cultivated meat. The push for lab-grown and 3D printed synthetic meat often overlooks basic physics, energy inputs, and capital expenditure. Why synthetic meat costs stay artificially high. Pharma-grade infrastructure. Cultivated meat cannot tolerate outside bacteria. It requires sterile cleanroom environments, stainless steel pharmaceutical bioreactors, and massive air filtration systems. A single rogue microbe can ruin a $100,000 batch. The growth medium problem. Animal cells don't grow on dirt and water alone. They require expensive synthetic amino acids, sugars, growth factors, and vitamins. The supply chain to manufacture these purified inputs is heavily industrialized, energy-intensive, and petroleum-dependent. Emulsifiers and binders. 3D printed meat requires synthetic texturizers, vegetable starches, and binding agents to hold its shape, turning the final product into an ultra-processed food rather than a clean, natural whole protein. Why closed-loop biology wins. Free microbial labor. In an aquaponic system, colonies of nitrifying bacteria, Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter, convert toxic ammonia into rich nitrate fertilizer continuously for free. Zero synthesis. You are not engineering a muscle cell from scratch under a microscope. You are giving a hardy species, like tilapia or channel catfish, clean water, oxygen, and natural feed, duckweed, black soldier fly larvae, or clean pellets. Dual output. Every gallon of water produces 2 simultaneous yields: clean, dense animal protein and fresh mineralized produce, leafy greens, root crops, squash, herbs. 2. Rebuilding trust. Eliminating systemic rot through proximity. Centralized industrial agriculture suffers from a black box problem. Consumers have no visibility into synthetic additives, factory runoff, processing facility sanitation, or shipping delays. Radical transparency via proximity. When food is produced within a 10-mile radius, or in your own backyard, there is zero room for corporate corner cutting. You can see the water quality, the living fish, and the living plants with your own eyes. Anti-fragile food security. If a nationwide trucking network freezes or a centralized processing plant closes due to contamination, a decentralized network of high desert container setups continues producing daily without interruption. Whole food integrity. Returning to whole species protein restores consumer faith because nothing is hidden behind artificial flavorings, dye injections, or shelf-life extending preservatives. 3. Decentralized ledgering and tokenized funding for food sovereignty. To prevent projects from stalling due to bank friction, bureaucratic grant delays, or municipal red tape, decentralized ledgers and automated financial primitives can provide reliable, transparent funding. a micro-bonds and hardware crowdfunding. Tokenized asset backing. An individual or community group can issue a decentralized hardware bond to cover the initial 5,000-8,000 setup cost of an insulated container system. Real yield dividends. Instead of paying interest in depreciating fiat currency, the system pays out in food dividends, giving backers a fixed weekly allotment of fresh fish fillets and greens, or stable credit redeemable at local food hubs. B. Trustless supply chain and IoT integration. Automated data logging. Low-cost water sensors log pH, dissolved oxygen, temperature, and ammonia levels directly to an immutable ledger. Zero fraud. Consumers scan a QR code at the farm stand and see the exact, tamper-proof water quality history of the tank that the fish was harvested from, bypassing corrupted regulatory seals and paid third-party certifications. C. Smart contract milestone escrow. Perpetual maintenance pools. Funds are held in decentralized treasury smart contracts that automatically release operational capital for seed, solar battery replacements, or feedstock, only when automated IoT sensors confirm the system is running at optimal capacity. Cutting out the middleman, eliminating brokers, corporate distributors, and multi-tier logistics drops the retail cost of clean protein directly to the true marginal cost of electricity and feed, making fresh, unadulterated whole food accessible to everyone. Want to look at an IoT sensor architecture? Raspberry.
That was my little excerpt into the lionfish. I think it can help the world a lot instead of being a lot to worry about. So let's see what the hell Tectone is going to be talking about. And if it's something that we want to watch the whole thing, we will. If not, then we will move on because it is 11. No, it's actually 1:13 a.m. at August 16th, 2026.
I was 20, I thought my life was already figured out. I got into UC Berkeley. People told me I was smart. Teachers believed in me.
Yeah, teachers that I was spending hundreds of thousands to be there for told me I was really smart. Oh, okay, great.
And honestly, I believed in myself too. I think I was convinced that I would become successful. Maybe a doctor, maybe
an engineer,
something even bigger.
Like a fat doctor.
I never once imagined that I would be making YouTube videos while living with my parents.
Like, guys, like, that's fucking rough. You know, like, that's really, really, really fucking rough. And this guy's Asian. He has the intellect buff. You know, he's not white and he's smart. So the DEI program still incentivized to hire him. And he's still living with his parents. That's crazy, bro.
Life had very different plans, I guess.
Jesus.
One of the hardest...
Bro, no wife, no kids at 40, living at home with your parents, making YouTube videos. I mean, bro, that's rough. Open his stream in a private tab. Okay.
Things I've ever experienced was watching my identity slowly disappear. Growing up, being the smart kid became part of who I was. Then I got into Berkeley. Suddenly, I was not special anymore.
Can I tell you guys the God's honest truth? Incredibly intelligent children are actually special needs. Do you agree or do you disagree? I'm about to spit some bars at y'all. Yes, I agree. Great. I'm going to explain why to everybody who doesn't agree. So I was a very incredible, very intelligent child. I was in the GATE program, the Gifted and Talented program. You know, I got straight A's through all of elementary and the beginning of middle school. I never had to study. And the problem is that from an early age, I never experienced anything challenging whatsoever because everything came to me naturally, which prevented me from doing one thing that is essential to actually being successful in the academic system, which is I never learned how to study. Never once did it. Never once needed to do it. And that prevented me from being able to solve things later in life, later in school, that required a predetermined amount of research. So like, for example, in math, if you know 1 times 1 plus 1 is 2, you can know that 2 plus 2 is 4. Because with pre-existing knowledge, you can solve issues that you haven't faced before. Or if 2 times 2 is 4, you'll know that 4 times 4 is 16. Because you can use the same principles of the system that is taught to you, and you can expand that to future problems that you have not faced yet. Whereas in history, you cannot know something until it's taught to you. So like, for example, if you were to know that World War II was like between 1939 and 1945, and you know the Battle of Midway happened in World War II, you know it's somewhere in between those 2 dates, but you won't know the day, you won't know the specific year. You can guess, but you can't know. And that's when I really started struggling with like history and like calculus, or even like, you know, chemistry, because even though I know that like H2O is water, I won't exactly know how to make carbon monoxide or what iron is, because you can't know these things until you are taught them. And so I was someone who should have been told, even though, sweetheart, you know all of these things, you still need to learn the ability to study. Having the ability to study is very crucial for your development as a human. And the problem is, whenever you're getting good grades at the level I was, none of your teachers will tell you to learn how to do it. And none of your parents will tell you how to do it either, because as long as they see the A's on the report card, they don't care. They say, oh, my child, he's a genius. He's smart. Smart kids are special needs because they need to be emphasized that, yes, even though it is very easy, you still need to understand how to research. And they should be brought up to advanced levels in other courses, so that way they get humbled, because even though everything is like, I'll be real, at kindergarten, I was already doing math at a 6th grade level, right? So I just thought I was a fucking genius. I was different, and school was just going to be easy. And I still never learned how to study until I was like 28. Right? Like way down the line. So in order to get through high school and college, I had to cheat. I had to cheat through everything. I would get my fucking girlfriend at the time to do all my fucking work. And then I broke up with her, went to college, got another girlfriend, made her do all my work. And like, I would do the thing where I would like write down my answers on like a fucking Coke can or on my leg or in my calculator, or find the fucking teacher's like fucking Q&A list. I never learned how to study, and studying is so important, especially for things like understanding like politics and like the like societal standards of the world, and like doing social commentary. Because when you don't understand how to study, that's when you become like a liberal, and that's when you become libtarded, and you just accept things for what they are because you don't want to do your own research in the background. And I realized that I had that issue, you know, a while ago, and I've been working on that, and I'm done with that process. I'm a well-researched individual now. I've read many books. Don't ask me what they are, I couldn't tell you. But when I look at reality, I'm like, okay, let's double check here. Because the problem is that special needs kids will quickly assume whatever reality is easiest for them that doesn't require them to do research. So just make sure that even though you were a kid and you did pass through things very easily, the ability to study and do your own research is very important to become a complete human being. Anyways, that was long-winded, and we're back.
I started struggling, really struggling. Every exam felt harder than the last. Every semester chipped away at my confidence. Until eventually,
Yeah, there's no way I could do anywhere near the amount of listening to what the fuck he wanted to say about that right now. That was just way too much.
Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Things are nothing really going on in the world, right? Everything's just totally fine. Yeah, nothing really to cover today. Oh, I guess we might as well wrap it up. Oh.
Speaking of, we have officially wrapped it up, folks. It is approaching 4 hours. Sorry I wasn't more talkative today. It was kind of a late start here. We're doing a lot to help the progression of the channel. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this with other people who like this different type of content. This has been Clifford Johnson with the Mojave Podcast Transmission. I know I'm looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 4. I hope you guys are. It is 1:20 a.m., 8/16/2026, and I will catch you guys next time. Goodbye.